You don't go to school to learn. You go to school to get a degree, and that degree hopefully helps you get a job that you're looking for, but you don't go to school to learn. There's just so many more effective ways to learn than to go to a university. I went to university. I don't regret that I went to university, and it was 20 years ago that I went to university, and I thought I wanted to be an investment banker, and at the time, being an investment banker, you needed to have a university degree. If you want to become a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant, you have to go to school. You have to go to school to get the degree to then allow you to get the opportunities. How are you going to get real world experience as a doctor without any kind of degree? If you want to be an entrepreneur, it's only becoming more and more useless. I mean, it was pretty useless for me 20 years ago. My 4th year graduating class, small business course, I was already running my company at the time, and it was honestly a waste of time. Everybody who was in the class was thinking of doing coffee shops and these little businesses, and I wanted to build a huge biotech software company. My professor didn't run a business, and it was just a giant waste of time. I ended up most of the time being on my laptop and working on my business. That was 20 years ago. Now I can't even imagine what it would be like right now, and how boring it would be, and how useless or irrelevant it would be, and how much I just want to be skipping class and making videos.
Need motivation?
Watch the top 10 with Believe Nation.
It's Nina Carmichael, and we make these videos probably because you're the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of much more, and you need that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, and our take on his top 10 rules for success. Enjoy!
I was a good student. I never skipped class. It was more that I was probably afraid of missing out on stuff and failing tests. So even though I had a lot of entrepreneurial tendencies, I still did, pretty well in school and showed up to classes and did all the assignments. But I wasn't happy about it, and it felt, especially the small business class, felt useless. If I'm taking economics classes and I'm taking accounting classes, those felt a lot more practical in that it would guide me towards being an investment banker. I had to have those classes on my resume, but the small business one just felt like a giant waste of time. Think about your own education experience. Most of high school, college is just memorization, right? You're just memorizing stuff. It's the connections to other people, which can be helpful, and then memorizing. You don't actually learn very much. Like, how much did you actually remember from your stats class or math class or calculus or French or whatever? Like, how much did you actually? Most of it is just memorization. I'm not actually completely anti-education. It's just more, do your actions map to your ambitions? So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you're going to get nothing pretty much from a university education. If you want to be a doctor, then you have to go off and do it. And it's not so much that you're learning amazing things, because you can learn it in much faster ways. If you care about something, you're going to learn a lot more. And if you see it being practical and applicable to your life, you're going to learn a lot faster. I remember being in stats class, and statistics was super boring to me. I memorized a whole bunch of things and formulas and never applied it, didn't see how this was relevant, and so instantly forgot it. And then I was working on I have my own software company now and tool that we're using, and we're split testing different thumbnails, one versus the other, and I wanted to be statistically significant. And I remembered that term from my stats class, like, whoa, how do you calculate that again? Now that it actually became applicable to me, now I'm suddenly interested in it. And when you care about something, you're gonna be more interested in it, and you're gonna learn it, and it'll stick. Where most of the stuff that we learn in school, you just don't find it relevant or helpful, and so it doesn't stick. And so there's much faster ways to learn. It's caring about it. It's being in a community of other people who are learning. But the point of school is not to learn. The point of school is to get the degree so you can get the job. And if that's what your goals are, awesome. You still have to play that game. And if it's not your goals, then how can you better achieve your goals, right? And I get there's still pressure, and maybe your family's forcing you to do it, or you still think that in the eyes of society, that's the best thing to do. But man, as long as you're making decisions based off of other people's opinions, you're never going to win. If you're living your parents' version of your life, or you're living society's version of your life, you're just never going to win. That doesn't mean that you just drop everything and, just throw it all away. But are you taking enough action and enough steps towards building the thing that you want to build? And maybe that means taking a year off. Maybe that means taking a semester off. Maybe that means starting your side hustle. Like, there's one thing just to complain about a life that you don't like, But the more important thing is are you taking action? The amount of people who are complaining about the thing that they're doing that they don't enjoy, but at the same time are taking zero action towards the thing they want to do, the thing that you claim you enjoy. Are you spending enough time? Have you scheduled it in? Is it in your calendar that consistently you're taking some kind of action towards the life that you want to build or not? And for too many people, it's no. You're just complaining about a life that you don't like, about a school system that you don't like, about a job you don't like, about a relationship you don't like, but what are you doing to actually fix it? And again, it doesn't mean you have to burn the boats and go all in and pour garbage all over your boss's office or quit school right away, right? It doesn't mean you have to go all in right away, but you do have to take consistent action towards building a life that you do want. I look at Movement Makers as an example, and that's my training program. It's my mentorship program where every 2 weeks I get thought leaders together who are trying to build their audience, build their community. They have a movement inside them that they want to see get out into the world. And so we talk about making videos and winning on social media and getting book deals and becoming a speaker. And how do you get that thing that's in your heart? How do you get that message here out to the world? And we meet every 2 weeks, and it's the greatest educational thing out there for people who want to become thought leaders, right? If you don't want to be a thought leader, you're going to be bored and find it a waste of time. If you want to be a thought leader, it's the best thing in the world. And it's training with me, but it's also connection to community of other people who are doing it. So when you want to learn something, I look at them and they're doing it and they're taking on challenges and they're making videos, and all of a sudden now they're starting to get an audience and starting to get clients and building a business. And that's the best. It's the best. And the fact that they're not just doing it by themselves, but they're doing it with other people, that you're part of a community. When you're around other people who are also learning. Learning is one thing. And going from education to self-education, like traditional education, formal education to self-education, becomes the game if you want to learn, right? Traditional education, the goal is not to learn, the goal is to get a job. Cool, if that's your goal, awesome. If you want to learn, you have to flip the model from traditional education to self-education. Stop blaming the traditional education system. It's just not designed to learn. That's not what you're there for. If you want to learn, you have to create your own self-education program. You have to go learn from the people who've done the thing that you want to do, model success, be around it, take consistent action, and get some kind of community. Because the learning amplifies when you're not doing it alone. If you feel like you're always alone, everything is on your shoulders, nobody around you understands, nobody else is trying to do something similar to you, you're isolated, you don't feel like you belong, that's really hard. It's not that it's not possible, it's just insanely difficult, and most people will quit along the way, or at the very least just not take enough consistent action. But when you're around other people who are doing the thing, who are also committed, who are learning, you're teaching each other, and you feel like you're not alone on the journey, it's one of the biggest improvements I made to Movement Makers was at the very, very beginning. It's 85 minutes every 2 weeks, right? So at the very beginning, it was me teaching for 85 minutes because I thought, you know what, got to get the education out, teach as much information is in my brain, pour it into your brain, and let's go. And what I found was some of the best elements of Movement Makers is having the members connect to each other and creating breakout rooms for people where they can share their experience, explain what road they're on, creating a Discord where people can share their wins, get help from each other, so that's not all flowing through me, but then they're connected to each other. And when you can create a family of people who are also learning the same thing that you're learning, man, when you're around those kind of people, everything changes. When it's not just you pushing the ball uphill every single day all by yourself, everything changes. And so moving from traditional education to self-education to actually, if your goal is to actually learn, and then finding a community of people who are like-minded, who are also chasing down their goals and their dreams, you get that, man, the next year you'll be unstoppable. You'll be unrecognizable. Like the person who you will be in 1 year compared to who you are right now, you won't even recognize it. Wow, that's who I used to be. That's how you turbocharge your growth. Invest in self-education and get around a community of like-minded people who will push you forward.
Rule number 2, create your own future.
The whole point of being an entrepreneur is to create your own future. That's why we start our own businesses. We want to build a new world. We want to be the change that we want to see, right? Why do you start a company? Why do you become an entrepreneur? Because there's a problem in the world that you don't like, that you want to fix, and you want to see it change. That's why we do what we do. The challenge is, how do you consistently believe in it? Because you have these moments, these days when you love it and you're on top of the world and you're on fire and you're motivated and you can do this, and then most days you'll wake up and feel like, who am I? I can't do this. I'm not good enough, and it's not going to happen, right? Has that happened to you? it's this roller coaster ride of ups and downs of emotion and just belief that it's possible for you. I got asked yesterday, how did you make so many great contacts with huge people at the beginning of your career? And the answer is I didn't. I didn't. I struggled at the beginning. I was nervous and shy and afraid and felt not good enough and never reached out to people. It was a long journey. One of the only reasons why I had any level of success is I just kept going. 5 years in and having 7,000 subscribers, I just kept going. I just kept making. And I started entrepreneurship, thought leadership at 22 when I started making content. 22, I'm now 42 by the time this video comes up. So 20 years of making content, eventually you make some connections and get good at something, but hopefully the process can be a lot faster for you. And the way through it is, I think, the environment. It's like, okay, how do you fix it? Well, environment. How do you consistently believe in yourself is the environment. It's what you're surrounding yourself with. It's the people in your life. It's the videos you're watching. It's the content you're consuming. It's the people you follow on Instagram. It's the environment. That when you are around the people that make you feel like things are possible, you will start to feel like things are possible. It's like whoever is more confident wins. So if you're around people who are constantly negative, telling you can't do it, gave up on their dreams, the chances of you being able to go chase your dreams around those people is really low. It's not impossible, but it's really low. And I think the people who've killed the most dreams are the people around us, right? Your parents, your friends, your environment, your community. They've killed your dreams. And ultimately, yes, it's your responsibility, but hanging around them and injecting their, not that they're haters or bad people, just their limited thinking and their unhappiness, right? They're hurt. They're struggling themselves. They don't like their own life and they're scared. They feel trapped. And so when you're in that position of fear and trapped and scared, you don't make good decisions and you also don't give great advice. And so how do we fix it? A couple things that I wish I did earlier. And so maybe you can use this as counsel to help you believe in yourself more consistently. So number one is to limit access or cut out the people who are feeding you negativity. If you're hanging around people who just make you feel worse about yourself, that every time you talk about your career, your dreams, or what you want to build, they tell you that it can't be done, that it's not possible, then limit access or just cut those people out of your life. It's just not worth it. And I say give the option because maybe that's your mom telling you that. Maybe that's somebody close to you telling you that. And some people do take the step to cut their parents out. That may not be how far you want to go, but at least limiting access so that if you're going to hang out with your mom, you're just not talking about your career. You're just not talking about your business. There's hopefully other things that you can connect on besides just what you're doing for a living or what your goals are, right? So cut those people out or limit access severely so that you don't feel so negative all the time. I think it's really important. Okay, so that then creates a void. Okay, well now who am I hanging out with? Because if you actually did an audit of the people in your life, you'd probably find that most of the people are not the ones that fill you up. You're the ones filling other people up. So we need to start finding people who do fill us up. So step 2 is to then join groups and to be around people and to be around the communities that are at least like-minded. As somebody who's introverted and shy myself, it can be really hard. And I think as adults, it can be really hard to make new friends. We're not going to school anymore. And so it can be hard to break into new communities. And so the easiest way to do that, especially if you're introverted and shy like me, is to join communities. So for me, I joined salsa dance school that I later bought. That's how I met my wife, Nina. I would join entrepreneur clubs. I would join, if I wanted to meet new people, I would join anything that I'm interested in, right? I'd look for any entrepreneur conferences, personal development events or clubs, any book signings, just looking at trying to start to connect with people who are more optimistic and more happy and more positive, and just try to be around them more often. And the goal of going to an event like that isn't to even necessarily learn something. I think it's just to be able to connect with people. And if you go to a networking event, you go to a conference or some kind of personal development session, hopefully you're learning something, but make the goal to just try to meet somebody. Like there's one person here who might be the friend that you need, who might be the business partner that you need, might be the co-founder that you need. There's one person here that might be everything that you need. And you don't need to know all 1,000 people here. You just have to make one meaningful connection that maybe that turns into a mastermind or business partner or coffee meetups that can allow you to sustain the momentum and the belief that it's possible. That being around somebody else where there's, 1 + 1 = 48 because the energy you create together. And the way to do that audit for yourself is just to think about, when I leave this person, do I feel more or less alive? Do I have more or less energy? Do I have more or less belief in myself? And when you have the people around you who make you have more energy and more belief in yourself, then you're more likely to go out and create your own future and create the world that you want to create, right? Where most of the people, again, we are pouring love and energy into them, and that's amazing, and keep doing that, and that's service, and that's awesome. But that can't be the only people in your life, because then you just are pouring into others and nobody's pouring into you. And so we need to start to add in those people, and they're out there. They're out there. They're for sure out there. I see it all the time in Movement Makers. That's my membership group for people who want to be thought leaders, and we meet every 2 weeks, and I train them and I help them. And more important than even just the education or knowledge they get from me is the connection and community to each other, where they're going live together, they're starting businesses together, they're sitting there making content, in their garage or their basement or their office, their home and their kitchen, and their family might be saying, "Hey, what are you doing making these YouTube videos? Are you crazy?" And now they're around other people who are doing the same thing as them, and it just breathes life and hope and possibility, because you've got a great heart and a great soul and great opportunities in front of you, and you want to serve, and it can happen. It can happen. It can happen for you. But again, your environment probably doesn't support it. And so it's now instead of blaming the environment and blaming your parents and everybody else, it's making a conscious choice to change the environment. So again, step 1 is to remove or limit access of the people who are making you feel worse about yourself when you talk about your dreams and your goals and your ambitions. Step 2 is to supplement in new people who do make you feel better, who make you feel more alive. And again, whether you're going to an event or conferences or joining a group like Movement Makers, but you're part of a community, so it's not just you doing it all on your own. Honestly, it's probably my biggest mistake when I was starting my journey, is just trying to do everything myself, mostly out of fear and insecurity, and being shy and afraid. But hopefully you can get there a lot faster, and that propels your growth forward. And then number 3 is be really conscious of what you're feeding into your mind with the content you consume. And so I think we have this wonderful opportunity on a daily basis to choose education or choose entertainment or choose creating a new world that we want and consuming the knowledge that allows us to build it, or escaping a world that we don't like anymore. Like, if you see a problem in the world, you have a problem in your life, do you choose to fix it, to work towards it, or do you choose to just kind of ignore it and try to shut off the world, right? Most people will try to shut off the world and just be entertained, as opposed to, no, we got to fix this. We got to do something about this. And so think about the videos you watch. You're watching this video, so you're already on the path, but do an audit of everybody that you follow, do an audit of the channels that you subscribe to, do an audit of where you're spending your time, and see how much of it, how many of the channels that you subscribe to on YouTube, how many of the videos that you watch on YouTube are helping you build a better future for yourself, are training you to be a better person, giving you the skills and the knowledge to actually go and make that change, versus how many of the videos are you watching that are just pure entertainment or just shutting off your brain and shutting off the world and pretending like the problems that you've gotten and you want to solve don't exist, right? And I'm not suggesting that you never have entertainment. Just switch the ratio. If you want to change the world, if you want to create a new future for yourself, for your family, for the people around you, if you actually want to do that, then you have to start to change what you're feeding into your mind. And again, this channel is a great start. You're all the way through this video, so you're already on the path. And I mean, it's amazing. It's worth celebrating. High five to yourself there. Congratulations. And it's the consistency that matters the most. So what are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing the next day? What videos are you watching the day after that? What videos are you watching next week and next month? And making that consistent, because again, it's easy to get excited. As entrepreneurs, it's easy to get excited and have one day where you feel on top of the world and amazing, and holy cow, I can do so much and so many opportunities. And then it's easy again to the next day wake up and feel hopeless and impossible, and who are you to do this, and I can't do that, and there's no way that it's going to happen, and why did I think this is what a stupid decision, right? We beat ourselves up. And so that consistency in the environment is the thing that will make a difference. Let me tell you this, if you were hanging around people, even just one person who was always working out, who was always fit, they would, even without them telling you, you would become more fit. You would work out more because you're around them, because the environment they create, if you respect them, would be one where you would now just want to work out more. And so it's the same thing for your dreams. When you are not around the people who are negative and who are trapped and who are in a lot of pain, and when you add in people and content that makes you feel alive and hope and possibilities and belief, great things start to happen. Great things start to happen. But it has to be consistent. A one-off video is not enough. Every day, put it into your calendar that whether it's a human being that you're actually talking to or content that you're feeding into your mind, that you're gonna show more belief in yourself because your mission matters, because your heart matters, because you have a gift that the world needs, and because you want to create a new future, a better future for yourself, for your family, for the world.
Rule number 3, seek fulfillment.
The fastest way to fulfillment is to feel like the work you do matters. At the end of the day, everybody is built to serve. I wrote a whole book on it. You are built to serve. You want to feel like today matters, that you're going to wake up and you're going to create something today that will mean something to some people, to someone. Maybe it's 1 million people, maybe it's one person, but you're going to make something that will mean something to somebody. Look at me. I'm sitting here in a parking lot. My wife is shopping at a food store, and I'm sitting here in the car with my dogs passing out on my phone, making a video. Why? Because I feel like this matters. I feel like somebody's going to watch this video and it'll make a difference for them. And hopefully that's you. Maybe not everybody, but at least one person will watch this video and it'll matter and it'll mean something and it'll make a difference. And when I feel that, I'm much more likely to show up. I have more fulfillment. I have more energy. I have more kindness. I have more love. I have more motivation. And when we feel like what we're going to do doesn't matter, makes no difference, nobody cares if we show up or not, that's the path down to anxiety and stress and overwhelm and depression and suicide. This is where most people are at. Most people do not like their lives. Most people feel like what they do does not matter. I think most people wake up and they drive to a job that they hate. And they feel like today it doesn't matter. Nobody cares if I show up or not. The work I'm doing doesn't really have an impact. And that's why a lot of people move towards entrepreneurship, is because we're looking for more fulfillment, because we want to feel like this thing we're going to do is going to make an impact in at least somebody's life. And if you can run some of those things together, you can have a couple days even in a row feeling like this matters. Man, the energy difference that will be inside you. The motivation will change. The kindness will change. How you show up for others will change. How you talk to yourself will change. All because you feel like the work you're doing today matters. They did functional MRIs on people's brains, and I talk about this in Built to Serve. They did functional MRIs on people's brains to see what parts of the brain light up when we're helping people, when we feel like we're going to do something that's even just a small act of kindness. And it lights up the same part of the brain as having food and having sex. Serving others. It's the same part of the brain as having food and having sex. We're hardwired to do it. If you're not happy right now, it's because you feel like you're not serving, that you don't matter. You might be doing stuff that matters, but you feel like it doesn't matter. This is where I get stuck on goals. People say, well, what are your next goals? I don't know, 5 million subscribers, 10 million subscribers. It doesn't mean anything. What does that mean? It's more the qualitative stuff that means the most to me. It's the comments that you guys leave on the videos. It's the people that come up to me at events and tell me how much the content has had an impact on their lives. Like, that's the juice. That's why we do what we do. And of course you have to get numbers, and of course you have to drive revenue, and of course you have to, like, all of that matters, because in making money, it allows you to go and create more and serve more and help more, you know, and build a better life for yourself as well. Money is definitely important. It's got to be in your top 5, but it can't be number 1. And number 1 is feeling that you're on a mission and that you're going to make something today that will matter. So how do we do it? Again, I go through the process and Built to Serve, but basically 3 steps. It's who I have. So who is your single most important core value? And if you have to guess, what is your most important core value? What do you stand for as a human being? me, it's belief. So I want to spread belief everywhere that I go. In this video, my intention is to spread belief. I want to believe more in myself, and I am hoping that you believe more in yourself as a result of being around the stuff that I make. I don't always accomplish it, but it's the intention. It's the goal always going in. And whatever your most important core value is, that's what you still need more for yourself. It's your biggest roadblock right now. And it's also the gift that you want to give to the world, to the people around you. You want to help them feel X as well. So for me, it's believe. What is it for you? Step 2 is your why, and your why is your purpose, and your purpose comes from your pain. So whatever you struggled the most with is the thing you want to help other people through. So I struggled so much as an entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur, 19-year-old Evan, quit on my business partner, didn't think I was adding any value, no contribution, not getting any results, working my face off but just getting 0 results, no traction. And I hated it. So I quit on my business partner. I went back the next day, but that was man, the worst day of my life. And my why is to help other entrepreneurs not struggle as much as I did. Whatever you struggled with the most is a gift, because you're going to help other people not struggle as much as you did. And that will make you feel amazing forever. We all love helping, right? Back to the functional MRIs. You love helping. You love assisting. You'll buy the coffee for the person behind you in line, or you'll open the door for somebody, or you'll help somebody pack their car with groceries, or help somebody up who fell on the street or something. Like you'll do that. It'll feel good. But that's a little momentary thing, versus if you felt like there's somebody who you're helping who is a younger version of you, you see you in that person, and you help them come alive. By talking to you, by spending 5 minutes with you, you see hope light up in their eyes that, wow, maybe I don't have to stay stuck. Maybe I don't have to struggle and suffer as much as I am because they met you. Man, that's a totally different vibe and feeling. That's the thing to get addicted to. Get addicted to serving. Get addicted to helping. Get addicted to impacting. You know, what a difference it makes. And so figuring out your why becomes really important, because we'll often just find ways to try to find any kind of meaning without ever having done the deepest work. And as entrepreneurs, we struggle to often looking back. I don't want to think about my most painful moment. That was in the past. I don't want to touch that. I want to be happy and optimistic and move forward. Well, this is how you do it, right? The point of looking back at your most painful moment is not to live there. It's to say there's lots of people who right now currently are struggling with the thing that you struggled with before, and you can help them. And you'll light up. You'll be the greatest thing of all time to help those people. So first is your who, your most important core value. Second is your why, which is your purpose. And the third is then your how, and that's your passion. So how do you want to help people? So I want to help people believe in themselves, and especially entrepreneurs, because that's where I struggled the most. But how do I do it? Well, however you came out of the hole that you were in is a teachable thing that you can give to other people. So for me, it was modeling success, and that's it. Who has done this before? And I studied them, and I applied that lesson. It was Bill Gates. I applied his lesson to my business, and we started having success. Now, what have I done for the past 20 years is teach people how they can model success to the situations in their business or their life to accomplish their goals. So how did you get out of the hole that you were in? What was the thing that you did? And where we get trapped a lot is we love helping people to get the result, but we don't love the process of helping them. So the classic example I use is if you're moving your office. I love helping you as an entrepreneur move to a new office, but I don't want to help you pack boxes and pack up computers, right? So I like the end result of helping you believe in yourself and you've launched your new office. Awesome. But I don't like the process that leads up to it. So we're constantly chasing the result, but we don't enjoy the process. Where the number one rule for success is you have to enjoy the process. And so we get trapped in this loop of constantly helping people because we love helping people, we feel good helping people, and we get the result of helping people, but we don't enjoy the process. And so we never get actually great at the thing or world class because we're not enjoying the day-to-day work. And so that becomes the next challenge is however you got out of the hole that you were in is a teachable thing to others, and we have to enjoy the process of doing it so it doesn't feel like work, right? That whole expression of find what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. It's true. You know, I love making videos. How have I done so many videos for so long, so consistently? Because it doesn't feel like work. This isn't work. I would, my wife is in this store here, shopping for food. That feels more like work than sitting here in the car and making a video for you guys. right? And so there's no right or wrong, you know, for my wife, she'd probably rather be in there than making videos. So for you, what's the process that you actually enjoy that is contributing to other people? So when you can combine all those things, when you can find the thing you love doing that's a service to others, that is helping people who currently are who you used to be, and injecting them with the core value that you've got that you still need even more for yourself, that's when everything starts to shift. So the who, why, how process. Who, your single most important core value. Why, your purpose comes from your pain. And how is your passion, how you actually want to help people with their, you know, through your who and your why. You figure that out, everything gets easier. Everything gets more exciting, everything gets happier, everything, you feel more grateful, more confident, more alive, more momentum, you start making more money. It's like you stop fighting the world and you start flowing with it because you want to serve and you've got so much kindness and opportunity inside you that needs to come out, that where you are right now is not where you want to be. It's not where, if you fast forward a year, 2 years, 5 years, you want to be in a better spot, everything wise, health wise, emotional, gratitude, money in your bank account, all of it. And it's possible when you can connect your who, your why, and your how to find the fulfillment that you're after.
Rule number 4, understand the why.
When you have a why to live for, you can endure almost any how. It's one of my favorite quotes. If you think about it, if you've got a strong why, most people are stuck on the how. How do I do this? How do I get started? How do I write a book? How do I create a video? How do I get my first client? How? We're stuck in the land of how. But the problem for most people is not the how, it's just the why isn't strong enough. Think about the time where you really had to figure something out. You really had a strong why, like this must happen. We've all had those moments. You figured out the how. The how maybe didn't come right away. The how, you might have tried 18 different things before you found the how, but the how is often, when you say you're stuck on the how, it's often just an excuse because you're afraid. I want to start a YouTube channel. Cool. How do I do it? And you're stuck on what gear to use and what microphone and what topic and, you know, whatever the typical questions people have that probably run through your brain. That ran through my brain when I first got started too, right? Really, what's underneath that is just fear. It's just fear. It's like fear that nobody will watch the videos, fear that people will watch the videos and you'll be judged. It's just fear. If you're stuck on the how, it's just fear talking. It's an important insight. If you can apply this to your life, it'll make a huge difference. If you're stuck constantly on the how, it's just fear talking. And this is your logical brain guiding you through the process of staying stuck. I can't tell you how many people I've helped and given them the how. Just here's how you do it. Here, how? Here's go. And then there's another question, and no action because it's fear. And so how do you get over the fear? No how is going to take you to the fear. Fear is the why. You solve the fear through the why. Why? Why must this happen? Why is this so important? Why are you doing this? And it's a constant reminder of why, because you can feel super motivated and excited today, but then wake up tomorrow and kind of lose sight of the why. And I think it's important to apply in 3 areas. 1, for yourself. 2, for your clients or customers, the people you're helping sell to. And then 3, for your team as you build and scale a company. So let's break down each one. For yourself, why do you do what you do? You know, if you're a solo entrepreneur or you've got a small team and you're building, why do you do what you do? Why is it so important that you wake up and show up today? Because you don't have a boss. There's nobody who's going to fire you if you don't show up and do your work, right? It's part of a structure of a corporate environment and having a boss breathing down your neck, and you know you're going to have a performance review, and you know that your next paycheck is dependent on you doing well, right? Sure, we have our customers as our bosses, but a lot of times entrepreneurs will slack off, we'll find reasons why not to do something, we'll convince ourselves of, you know, why we're not capable and why this is not a good idea for us to work on. You know, but we're not focused enough daily, consistently on the why of what we are doing. That forces us into momentum, growth, and action. Here, it's a Tuesday morning as I'm filming this video for you guys right now. I've got a lot of videos to film. I've filmed, you know, thousands of videos, over 12,000 videos. I should do a count because I reference it, but I don't know how many videos. Like thousands and thousands and thousands of videos, and it's easy just to get in the car and film a video, but what's important is the connection to the why. I'm sitting in the car We're driving to do some errands, and it's an exercise to remind myself why I do this, because you guys are watching, because I want to help solve the world's biggest problem, because I want to make content for 19-year-old Evan who didn't believe in himself, because in learning from people like Elon Musk, it encourages me to think bigger and push harder and do more. And I'm not just sitting in my car talking into my cell phone. I'm doing life-changing work, and it's that daily reminder. And then I'll feel that, and I'll press record, and here we are making this video, right now. And then tomorrow I'll need another reminder. At least it works that way for me. It's not that I can just watch one video or go to one event and then I'm good for the next year. It's a daily, not struggle, but a daily, just like you have to brush your teeth every day. It needs to be a daily habit, or you won't remember it. But it's important to remember, because when you feel your why and you feel like what you're doing is at least on the path to having an impact on people, you're just going to show up with a lot more energy and care and kindness and drive, compared to if you feel like it doesn't really matter if I show up today or not. So that's the first one, is you building in the habit of connecting to your why on a daily basis to give you more energy to push forward and do the courageous things that you're afraid to do, so you don't get stuck on the how. The how's not the problem, you're just afraid. Number two is the why for your customers. One of the biggest advantages that you have as an entrepreneur is your story. Like, why would I buy from you instead of buying from your big competitor that I've known for years, or some big brand name? Why buy from you? Why buy from the little guy? Well, your story, because I feel like you care, because I feel like you have a strong why. If I'm buying from you instead of Coca-Cola, why would I buy your drink? Well, because you have a strong why, and I don't know what Coca-Cola's why is. People aren't connected to the brands that they buy from for their why. This is how you win. And so you sharing your story and why you do what you do becomes really important. One of the best pieces of feedback that I get is on my website. And on the website, if you go to evancarmichael.com, if you want to check it out, I share my story and I share why I do what I do. So it's not just another guy making some content on YouTube and on various platforms, but you can hopefully connect with the reason why I do what I do. And people read that, and then they want to dive deeper into my world. And the same thing can happen with you. You don't just sell a product or service. Don't just try to make yourself look like some giant corporation and be professional. Like, yes, you want to be professional, but your story is the thing that carries the day the most. Your story, sharing it, why you do what you do, really, 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 really matters. Because if customers can connect to your story, they're much more likely to know you, like you, trust you, want to buy from you, want to do business with you, because they feel something in your story that hits them on an emotional level that we'll then use to justify why we're doing it, right? Again, it's our emotions and our heart leading the way, and it's our brain convincing ourselves why we have to do it. Customers, if they like your story and it made them feel something emotional, will find a way to justify working with you. They'll convince their brain that it's a smart idea, but it's really an emotional decision. So the first why is for ourselves, the second why is for our customers, and the third why, as you scale and grow, is for the team. So we've got 37 people on the team, and one of the hardest things that I've noticed as we grow and scale is making people's individual work feel like it's contributing. I'm a little spoiled in that I get to see all the great stuff. I get to meet you at events and conferences, and I get to hang out with you in Movement Makers, and I get to see the comments, and I get to, people want to take selfies, and I get to see a lot of the good stuff. But this is a team effort. If I did not have my team, this would not be happening. I'm maybe not making this video for you right now because I have a million other things that I have to do and run a solo business. One of the things that I found really helpful in my business is every Sunday I connect with somebody else on the team. So there's some people I meet once a week that are mission critical, but there's other people now as we scale and grow the team, but there's just not enough time to meet everybody one-on-one once a week. And so what I do is I reserve Sundays for connecting and trying to really deeply connect with somebody on the team. And this weekend, I connected with a new member on our team who's helping do a lot of the research for these videos and finding the clips and putting them together and bringing them to me to be able to record. And it's one thing just to have a job, and the bar for being a boss is so low. You know, to be a good boss, really you just have to not treat people like crap. Honestly, like most people have bad boss experiences. So just care about people and you're already creating the best experience probably in their work history. But I don't think that's good enough. Like I don't think that's a good enough experience. I think people should feel like they're showing up to work and they're doing something that matters. And so it becomes your job to connect the work that they're doing to something that matters. So back to, you know, my meeting on the weekend, this person who's been doing a lot of great research for us, it's easy just to look at what she's been doing and congratulate her on finding great clips and just telling her what a good job she's done, and that's worthwhile for sure. But what's the why? Is the why to just not get fired? Is the why to get a raise? Is the why, you know, like what's the why driving meaning behind her work? And want to make sure that people on the team feel meaning behind the work. And so my job as a leader is to connect the work that she's doing to the end result, so that if we see people leaving great comments on the video, we see people making life-changing decisions, we see people growing their business, that's you. Like, you did that, you helped do that. And we often as entrepreneurs forget that. So if you've built and scaled a team, even if it's just one person on your team, somebody doing, usually who's the first person we hire? Somebody to do admin work, typically, right? They're very behind the scenes. And so I think it becomes your job to then show the person who's working behind the scenes how the work that they're doing is leading to a major impact. If you're up front and you're getting all the accolades and you're doing the speeches and you're getting the books and you're making the videos and you're doing the selfies and people are telling you how amazing you are, cool. It's great. I mean, it feels amazing. And then think about how can you bring that back to your team as well and let them know that they're a part of this, that they created something meaningful. Because I think when they can attach meaning to their work, they're going to be a lot happier. They're going to give you a better result. They're going to have more connection to the work that they're doing, and they feel like they're living out their purpose as well. Not everybody wants to start a business, but everybody wants to feel like they're doing something meaningful. And oftentimes they just haven't made the connection because you as a leader, me as a leader, we haven't done a good enough job in showing them the impact that their work is having. So the why becomes everything. When you have a strong enough why, you can overcome and endure any how. If you're stuck in the how, it's because you're afraid. How do you get the courage to push through? Figure out a strong enough why. And if you consistently tap into your own why, if you consistently show your customers why you're doing what you're doing, and if you consistently show your team the why of the impact that they're having, I think that's a recipe for success.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Rule number 5, use your knowledge.
Nothing happens until you do something. Your life doesn't change, your business doesn't change, your situation, nothing changes. Nothing changes, nothing gets better until you decide to do something. This is where a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck, is that we're so obsessed with learning, and it's great. Learning is amazing, and watching videos is amazing, and going to events is awesome, and reading books and learning is just awesome. But it's easy to get stuck in our head and feel like the fact that we learned something, got inspired, got motivated is enough. It's not enough until you go and do something. Your life doesn't change until you do something. And so I've seen a lot of people who just seminar hop, who go from one person's seminar to the next person's seminar to the next person's seminar, and you go and you celebrate and you write a whole notebook full of ideas, but then nothing's changed in their life. And listen, that's better than than most people. Most people are just trapped. Most people do not like their life at all. Most people are not investing anything in education and learning and improving. So at least it's a step up from there, but it's not where you ultimately want to be. The difference between where you are now and where you could be in a year, 2 years, 5 years, etc., is not just what you've learned, it's the action that you've taken. It's learning something and then immediately applying. And the ability to be a fast starter and build momentum, I think, will make an incredible shift forward for you as a new skill to learn this year. So, for example, I just came back from a crazy number of events. I was recording a VR version of Built to Serve in Arizona, which was awesome. And then I went to 2 back-to-back events where I was invited to be a guest speaker and sit in on the events of one, you had to pay $25,000 to be there, and the other, you had to be $100,000 to be there. The 100K event was a lot smaller and more intimate than the 25K event, but still highly successful entrepreneurs in the room, caring about personal development, lots of speakers, and I had a binder full of notes. Right? As I learn something, as I want to apply something, I'm writing it down feverishly. And at the end of that week, it was intense. You know, I mean, some of the notes, for example, on my last day, I went for coffee with a guy who'd sold his business for over $200 million. And he picked me up from my hotel and we went to his compound, not just his house, and spent a couple hours there, and then he drove me to the airport. And these are the kinds of people who are at these events. And so if you're talking about people who had built and sold 9-figure businesses, there's a lot of wisdom, there's a lot of learning. I'm trying to soak up as much as I can and extract from his brain into mine and take as many notes as possible. And I remember sitting on my airplane ride home and just being, one, incredibly grateful for all the awesome humans that I met and the advice that I got, and then feeling overwhelmed. I've got so many notes. Just from this past week, I've got so many notes. I don't know what to do next. And so what I used my time on the airplane, there's no direct flight home from Phoenix to Toronto. And so I had a lot of airplane time. And I used that time to map out what I was going to do next. The worst thing you can do is just go get inspired by anything, whether it's an event, a book, a podcast, a video. You just get inspired and then you fall back into your regular routine. You get so overwhelmed by so many things that then nothing happens. You get excited, but then overwhelmed and then nothing happens and you fall back into your regular life. Where the best thing you can do is take some kind of immediate action. So one of the things, as an example, that this guy who had sold his business for $200 million said was, have a single most important number. What is the most important number that would drive your business forward? And align all of your businesses around that. And so everybody on the team has a single most important number they're working towards. And his structure was most important number, and then the drivers underneath it, and then the action steps that you had to pick. So whatever, if you could workshop it right now, think about what's the single most important number for your business right now. What are the 3 drivers that then make that up? So to help get you that number, there's 3 things, the most important things that you can do to help you focus. And then underneath those drivers are the action steps that you're going to take. This is his methodology. And I liked it. I'd never heard of it before. I liked it. He's writing a book on it. And so he gave me the first draft of the book for me to be able to read. And he said, hey, I'm happy to hop on a call with you for 2 hours to walk you through the process and how you can apply it to your company. And whether it's you by yourself, you with Nina, we'll do a Zoom together and I'll help you through this. I'm like, this is amazing, right? Like, yes, I love this. It's like, when can we do it? It's like, I'm busy and I'm traveling, whatever. And so 2.5 weeks out from when I left is when we're gonna do it. I'm grateful and it's awesome, but that's too long. And so I'm of course not saying no to being on a Zoom and getting his wisdom, but I need to do something now because I don't want to wait 2.5 weeks, right? Like, stop being in the waiting business. So I just started. So on the plane ride, I came up with some most important numbers for me and for the team and how to organize it. And then when I got home, I talked to Nina about it and we started working it and planning it and creating Google Docs around it and starting to tell the team about it and restructuring my meetings around it and making some changes, even though I don't have the model. I haven't talked to him yet. We haven't gone in deep. We haven't done our 2-hour session. And I'm sure after we talk, I'm going to have to make some more changes too, that he's going to look at what I did and say, hopefully some of it was right and that some of it was wrong and I need to tweak it. And that's fine. But the most important thing is that I took some immediate action, that I took this binder full of notes and ideas that are inspiring, but then got overwhelming to say, what am I going to work on when I get home? And 80% of the things in that notebook don't have to happen, right? Like if you read a book, you don't need to apply everything in the book. You just need to apply something to start making a difference. If out of every video that I make, you just apply one thing to your life and it makes a difference for you, that's all you need, right? And so the willingness to stop learning and start applying is hard, but is important. The willingness to put down a book. If you're reading a book and you're getting a lot from it, and you think of an idea to apply to your life or your business, stop reading the book and go do something on that idea. If you're watching a video, listen to a podcast, you get inspiration. Stop the video. Stop this. If something came to you while I'm talking, stop. Press pause on the video and go do something on that idea. And maybe you never even come back to the video. Cool. You've done something. That's more important, right? Like where you are now to where you're going to be in a year is going to be the sum of the actions that you've taken, the inspired actions, and the inspiration can come from the books and the videos and the conferences and podcasts and events. But just inspiration alone is not enough. It's the action. It's the inspired action to go and do something. And so it's something I'm constantly reminding myself of. And as you make your path down personal development and growth and learning and entrepreneurship, it becomes very easy to get sucked into the trap. And let me just quickly explain why. When you're learning, everything is possible. When you're at an event or you're watching a video, everything is possible. It's like, yeah, man, I could create this and I could build that and I could be up here and I can serve so many people. Everything is possible. And it's such an exciting place to live in. You know, that visionary inside us that wants to change the world and other people are doing it and you're trapped. You're not trapped. You're locked into that zone and it's exciting, right? Everything is possible. And then when it gets to taking action, everything becomes scary. You're judging yourself for not being good enough. You don't know how it's going to work out. You're afraid the first step is going to be a bad first step. You're just all of the fears and the doubts and the insecurities come flooding back in. And it's easy to eliminate all of that, all of those fears and insecurities by going and learning something else. Like, oh, if I learn that, then, oh yeah, everything's possible again, right? It becomes an addiction. We're addicted to the learning and growing and the knowledge because it makes us feel good. But what you need to start getting addicted to is the action, is the service, right? Like get addicted to serving people, get addicted to helping people. And that will not come until you take the ideas that you come up with and the knowledge that you've figured out and apply it. The best thing you can do whenever you've learned something is to apply it. And I call it the 2% difference. What is the first 2% that you need to act on? Stop the videos, put down the book, and just do something on the first 2%. Expect it to suck, expect not to get results, but build momentum. When you start building momentum, when you turn yourself from being a knowledge machine into a momentum machine, that's when you start serving, that's when you start helping, that's when you start building a life that you want. That's where the fulfillment comes, that's where the money comes. Everything is on the other side of taking your knowledge and turning it into inspired action.
Rule number 6, start small.
Think big, act small. Think big. You got a big dream, a big goal, a big mission, some big thing that you want to get done. That's where we love being as entrepreneurs, right? We love thinking about the big future and what we could build. And it is amazing and exciting, but it can also be overwhelming. It can be stressful. It can be hurtful to our own self-esteem because tell me if this happened to you. You've got this big idea and big goal, and it's exciting to think about it, but then it also becomes scary and it becomes impossible and it becomes something that someone like you can't do. And then we get overwhelmed by the details and then we can't do anything about it. because it feels too big. And to execute it, we need a team, and we need venture capital, and we need investors, and we need better people around us, and we need more skills, and all of these doubts and insecurities creep in. Does that sound familiar? Is that you? It certainly is me. You know, I want to solve the world's biggest problem. People don't believe in themselves enough. And anytime I think even close to that scale, it's instantly, well, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? I'm nowhere close. And so the thing that's really helped me is think big, but then act small. Because the biggest thing that most people are missing, I'm missing, you're missing, is just momentum. Biggest thing we're missing is just we're not doing enough. Because thinking big and having a big idea is amazing, but that alone is not enough. You have to go and you got to do the work. And we're so worried about the work being perfect, right? You're so worried about the first thing being amazing, and it won't be. And this is a hard lesson that I learned when I was in my early 20s in my first business, and we lost a $40 million deal because I was trying to be perfect. And I spent the whole summer working on this perfect plan, and I lost the deal. And I'm a recovering perfectionist, and I think saying you're a perfectionist really just means you're afraid, right? You're afraid of it not being good enough. You're afraid of launching something and people seeing it and judging you, or you're afraid of launching it and then not seeing it and nobody caring, right? We're afraid of being seen and not being seen, both at the same time. We're afraid. And so the answer is to do something. Immediate action. I've been helping people in my Movement Makers program get going on YouTube and now on TikTok, and the amount of indecision that people have around creating their first video, right? What should I wear? What should I say? What should my opening line be? What should my thumbnail be? What kind of gear should I use? What kind of camera? What kind of microphone? What kind of fill in the blank, right? All the things that just prevent you from taking action. Where the answer is just film, honestly, like just get something up. Look, I'm filming this video on my phone walking down the street. I didn't sleep that well last night, and getting some sunshine on my face and just pressing record and going. And I'm doing the best I can with what I have. And that's what you need to do, is just get it started, because the best plan that you can come up with right now is nowhere close to the plan that will help you win. You know, the plan that you come up with right now is not going to be the one that works, because you don't have all the information. And so the idea that you can plan what the end looks like and the path to get there is impossible. And so we spend our best energy planning and thinking instead of actually doing. And that's a big problem. And so it starts with, okay, you've got this big idea, awesome. Now what are you going to do today about it? Today. There's a couple of hacks that I want to share with you that I think can help. So the first is the 2% difference. And the 2% difference says, instead of planning for 100%, you work on the first 2%. So what is that first 2%? That's all you need to work on. What's the first 2%? So if you're thinking about YouTube or making a TikTok, you're thinking about a health journey, you're thinking about whatever it is for your business that you want to launch, what's the first 2%? And just start building momentum. So, you know, if you want to make a YouTube video, go film a video. Just take out your phone and film a video just like I am right now. You want to get started on TikTok? Cool, same thing. Flip your phone the other way, vertical, and start making your video. You want to start a health journey? Cool. You know, we get so stuck on figuring out what the perfect workout's going to be, right? Have you ever done this? Well, am I going to do HIIT? Am I going to do cardio? How many weights am I going to do? Am I going to hurt myself? Do I need to hire a trainer? What new equipment do I need to buy? You know, we just get stuck in all this planning mode instead of doing. Just do anything. Just go for a walk. Do 5 push-ups. You know, do a couple burpees. Whatever comes to mind. It doesn't matter what you do. It's matter that you're doing something. That's the big difference. It doesn't matter the specific action that you're taking. What matters is that you're starting to build some kind of momentum, that you're doing something. That's the most important thing, because if you get up and you do something every day, you're going to find that you start making some tremendous progress towards things. And so 2% difference is to teach yourself that you go from an idea to some kind of immediate action, that we're doing something right away on it. We're not planning for 100%, but we're going for that first 2%. The next thing is just expect to suck at the beginning. You know, we expect to be great out of the gate for some reason. You expect your idea to work, you expect that you're gonna have the skills, you expect you're gonna create something amazing. You won't. Just expect to suck at the start. It doesn't mean that you suck as a human, it just means that you don't have the skill set yet. And that's okay, and that's normal, and that's totally okay, that's fine. Go back and watch my first video. It was pretty embarrassing. Go back and watch anybody's first anything, and it sucks. It's normal. So if you expect to be great, and then you try something and you can't do it, then you feel really bad about yourself. But if you expect it to suck, and then you're just anything above complete terrible sucking, then you're good. Then you've won. And so apply the 2% difference. And then just expect to suck at the start, and then you keep going. So for anybody out there who's afraid to take action, who, you have these big ideas, big goals, big dreams, big things you want to do, but it just seems so out of reach, and it seems impossible, and it seems that you can't do it, and it's never going to work, and you're stuck in overthinking, over planning, over estimating, just stuck in your head. And it's crazy how quickly we can go from being excited by something to then almost instantly overwhelmed by it, And so you need to have the big dream. You need to have the big goal. That should get you out of bed and excited. It's like, yes, this is the change I want to make in the world. Amazing. And at the same time, you need an incredibly small action plan just to get going. Because you've got the great heart and the big dream and the big mission. The only thing you're missing is momentum.
Rule number 7, meet new people.
Your environment creates your energy. When you are at home and you are down and you are out and you just stay home and you never get any fresh air and you never get people around you to push you and make you feel like things are possible, then you stay stuck. And when you get outside, or when you go to an event and when you meet people, even if you're not there to learn, even if you haven't picked up anything at that event, just the fact that you got out and you met people and you changed your environment and you got some sunshine can make a world of difference. It is incredibly difficult to be an entrepreneur. It's hard. It's hard not just in that you're not seeing results at the beginning and you're trying to figure out how to make money, but it's also hard that you're by yourself, and you doubt yourself and you have insecurities and fears and you don't know if it's going to work out or not. It's really hard. And so when you're stuck doing everything on your own, and then the fears and the doubts and insecurities creep in when you're by yourself at home, that's the path down to the scary land. That's the path down to anxiety and stress and depression. And it's a big reason why we stay stuck and why we start and stop and start and stop and start and stop and can't stay consistent. Have you ever been on that entrepreneur roller coaster where you're motivated and excited and things are great one day and the next day you wake up and it's kind of not so great anymore? Has that happened to you? That happened to me a lot, that's for sure, in the early days. I quit on my business partner because I wasn't getting results and I just felt like a loser, felt like a total idiot because nothing was working out. It's the worst day of my life. It wasn't that I didn't have the heart or the ambition to do great things or didn't believe in the company. It's just, it wasn't working out. Nothing was working out. And I felt terrible about it. And a big reason why is because I was alone. I was by myself, I was alone. I didn't tell my friends. I guess I had a business partner, but I felt bad talking about it with him. And I stayed stuck. And so it took me a bunch of years to figure out these things that I'm about to share with you today about some hacks that I've used to help me maintain the momentum. So let's dive in. The first is every morning I go for a Believe walk. And the Believe walk is just me going outside. And sun or rain or snow here in Canada, I go for a Believe walk. And on that walk, it's just a way to start my day. Because no matter how great a day I might have today, tomorrow I wake up and it's another day. Even today was rough. I only slept 2.5 hours or something last night. So it's a very non-typical day. Energy not where it needs to be or usually is in the morning. And so first thing, let's get up and give us a little bit of grace. It may not be as great a day as we usually do, but I'm gonna go for my Believe walk. And just getting outside, just getting some fresh air on my face, just having some sun with me, just not being in my home, already starts to lighten the mood, already starts to give me more energy. And so every day I go for a believe walk. You know, unless I am just completely incapacitated, I wake up, get some sun on my face, wherever I am, and get my belief walk and just think about what's the kind of day I want to have. You know, what's my intention for the day, and try to set that up. 2, try to go to events. And to the idea of, you know, buy tickets to things. It could be things that you don't care about, but it could also be things that you actually, you know, you're going to be around some people. And every time I go away to an event, this is why, you know, the pandemic has been hard, because you've just been sitting inside, but every time that I get to go away to some kind of event, whether I learn something there or not from the speakers or the people there, I always come back with renewed energy, with renewed excitement, with renewed ideas. Even if you just go on, I remember going on vacations, you know, you go on a vacation and you sit on the beach, and I hate the beach. You know, I hate sitting there on the beach. I'll go and sit on the beach for one day, and then all of a sudden get bored of sitting on the beach. I want to do something. And so I'm then instantly pulling out my notebook and coming up with ideas or reading books, and you come away refreshed, even though the goal wasn't necessarily business, but you get new ideas for your business when you get out of your routine. You know, the routine is great, but when you feel like you're stuck, then adding a little bit of variety to it can really help. This is the balance that we have to do as entrepreneurs. We love variety, we love new, we love trying all sorts of new things, but if we don't stay consistent on something, we'll never accomplish our goals. But if all we do is do the same thing constantly and we stay consistent on doing the same thing, we end up getting bored and hating our business, and now we just bought ourselves a job. So it's that constant balance where if you haven't had any variety for a while, you need to add more variety in. And if you haven't had consistency for a while, you need to add more consistency. This ebb and flow, that's part of being an entrepreneur that I think you need to build in. So just scheduling time. So you have your believe walks, at least I do, every morning to set me up for the day. And then scheduling time to be able to go off and just not be at home. You know, whether it's a conference or an event, a vacation, just something to refresh my mind. And then the third thing is just join a community. It was one of the biggest things that I missed, was I had no community. I was doing it all by myself, and being introverted and being shy, I don't naturally seek out community and talking to people. It's not something that is normally in my mind, and I'm nervous, you know, going up and talking to people. So it's harder for someone like me and maybe someone like you to join a community, but man, what a difference it makes. I think of Movement Makers, and this is really the program I wish I had when I was getting started. You know, Movement Makers is, yes, advice from me, and we meet every 2 weeks and talk about the movement you're trying to build and everything you're trying to create. But more than that is a connection community to each other. That if you want to be a thought leader, you are not by yourself. Think about what you're trying to do. If I think about what I was trying to do, like I'm the only one who I know who's trying to do this. You know, who are your friends who are trying to make YouTube videos? Who else is walking through this mall making content? Right? Nobody. So who do you know who's doing what you want to do? Probably nobody. And who do you know who's doing what you want to do at a high level and who's ambitious and hungry? Probably nobody, right? Like you are probably the one who is the most kind, optimistic, ambitious person around you. And so when you start to get around other people who are like that as well, man, what a huge difference it makes. And so you can look at Mover Makers if you want to be a thought leader, but just in general, find a community. Find a community of people who are doing the thing that you are trying to do, even if they haven't done it yet, but they're ambitious and they're hungry and they're trying to do it. It could change your life. Starting a business is really hard, and you know this. If you're watching this video, you made it this far, you know it. You know it's hard. The environment that you're around is only partially supporting you. And when you can shake it up, when you can get outside and go for walks, get some sun on your face, when you can get out of your home and go to events and just be around other people who are doing things, and when you can join a community of people who are trying to do something similar to what you're doing, it can make all the difference in the world. You've got a great idea. You're doing it for the right reason. You've got a noble cause. And if you feel like you have those energy dips where one day you're on top of the world and it's all exciting, and then the next day you kind of wake up and you're in a rut. If that rut continues on, you know, for days or weeks, it's a sign not that you're that this isn't right for you, It's just a sign that you need to add a little more variety and remind yourself of who you are.
Rule number 8, decide on your mission.
Get rid of your 10-year goals and create a mission instead. I think a lot of people are so worried about where they're going to be in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years. We do these goal planning exercises. You ever gone through that? You ever gone through a goal planning exercise, goal setting exercise at events? You read a book, it says where you're going to be in a year, in 5 years, or 10 years. And the more that I've thought about it, the more that I've gone through the exercises, the more I realized it's not important. It's not helpful. It's not where we want to be, because you don't know what you're capable of in a 5-year period, a 10-year period. Think about who you were 5 years ago. Take today's date and subtract 5 years. Think about that person. Could you have predicted where you are right now? Could the person you were 5 years ago have any degree of confidence to plan a life for who you are right now? There's no way. There's no way. Not if you're growing, not if you're learning, not if you're improving. If you're watching this channel, then you're somebody who is learning and growing and improving. And so you had no idea what you're capable of 5 years ago. And so what makes you think that it's any different now, that you can plan for the next 5 years? Like, the only way that you can create a 10-year plan for yourself is if you are not growing and you're in a really static life. You know, like if you're gonna be a lawyer and you're gonna work your way up and be a senior partner at the law firm, and that takes a certain amount of time, cool, you could plan that out. That's a pretty boring life. You know, chances are, if you're watching this video, you don't want that life. That you want to create new and build new, and that requires being flexible to jump off of your 10-year goals, right? It's not that it's wrong to have goals. Goals can work, they can be motivating, but your goals right now are a reflection of who you currently are. That's the problem. Whatever goal you set right now is a reflection of who you currently are. And the more that you are growing as a human, and the more that the world evolves and new technology comes out and new opportunities arise, the longer horizon you put out, the less accurate it's going to be. And so instead of worrying about having a 10-year goal, replace it with a mission. The problem of a 10-year goal is you could actually hit your 10-year goal. It's just way small compared to what you're capable of. And so the answer is have a mission. What's your mission? What are you trying to accomplish? Like, what's the big problem that you're trying to solve? And then wake up every day trying to attack that mission, as opposed to worrying about where you're going to be in 10 years. This might flip a lot of goal setting on its head. It might flip a lot of what you've been told or taught or thought on its head. And listen, if having that 10-year goal works for you and is actually motivating, cool. Keep with it. Keep going. If it's helping you, use it. But if you feel like there's something more, you feel like 10-year goal is not enough, you don't feel motivated when you look at your 10-year goal from 2 years ago, it doesn't appeal to you anymore, it's probably why. You know, you're growing too quickly. The problem is not your goals. The problem is that you grew too much. The 10-year goal was great for who you were 3 years ago. You're not that person anymore. You've grown too much. That's not a reason to feel bad. That's a reason to feel amazing. You know, you've grown. You've outgrown yourself. You've shed your skin. You're now turning to the next generation of you. And so my answer has been mission. What's the mission? What are you trying to accomplish? You know, so for me, I want to solve the world's biggest problem. Entrepreneurs and, you know, people don't believe in themselves. People don't believe in themselves. And I don't believe in myself enough. You don't believe in yourself enough. Nobody, you know, walking out here believes in themselves enough. We don't believe in ourselves enough. And I want to solve that problem. And I'm never going to solve that problem. And I wake up every day trying to solve that problem. And why it's so helpful to have a mission like that is because it gives you something to fight for every day. And there's always something new that can come out that can help you with that. And there's always opportunities that, I think, guys, the amount of things that I've seen and that has happened in the past 10 years, if you look at 10 years ago, where was I on YouTube? I started in April 2009, so I was early in on my career on YouTube. I had a couple hundred subscribers. There's no way I would have said I'd be here. There's no way, just with the impact I've had, with the people I've met, with even just the confidence to sit here. Guys, I would have been so terrified to sit in a park making a video. Terrified of who's watching me, who's judging me, who's coming around the corner, who's behind there, maybe, you know, looking at me and judging me. You know, it just would have been impossible. So the person I was 10 years ago would have never even thought of this as a possibility. And now it's normal. It's not a problem, right? How quickly that we can grow. And so you come up with a mission. What's the problem you're trying to solve? And then as you develop new skill sets and improve mindsets and better belief systems, and as the market and technology evolves and opportunities arise as you keep going and building momentum. There will be new things that you can go off and do that you never thought were possible. But it's always in service of the mission. So how do you find the mission? Well, that's your purpose for me, and your purpose comes from your pain. So whatever you struggled the most with is the thing you want to help other people through. And so I struggled so much to believe in myself in the early days of my business and quit. Like I quit for one day on my business in worst day of my life, and I just want to make the path a little bit easier for others. How do I keep going? People ask me, how do you keep going? How do you keep making content? Have you made, I don't know, 13,000, 15,000? I don't know how many videos I've made. It's crazy how many videos we've done. I only slept 2.5 hours last night. It was a really rough night. Why get up and keep making content? Because I'm on a mission. Because this means something to me. Whether 4 people watch this video or 4 million people watch this video, I'm hoping that this video in some way is the video that moves the needle just a little bit for somebody watching. Maybe it's you. Maybe this is the video that you decide, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna find my mission. I'm gonna stop creating 10-year goals and stop over-planning, over-preparing, and overthinking, and over-strategizing, and over-doubting myself, and just go do something. Like maybe today, this is the video, or maybe I make another video today that accomplishes that. Like that's my goal. That's why I do what I do. That's what gives me the energy to wake up when every bone in my body is saying, sleep, don't do the difficult thing. And it's easy because I'm on a mission. And so what's yours? What did you struggle with the most as a human? And if you can connect to that, you can think about all the people who currently are struggling with the thing that you struggled with. You're not done growing, you're not done learning, you're still improving. There's still a long ways to go. You're by no means perfect, neither am I. But you're a lot further ahead than you used to be. And there's a lot of people right now who are right now stuck where you used to be. And they don't know what to do. They don't know where to turn. They don't have anybody who believes in them. They don't have any hope. They don't have any strategies. They think they're stuck. They think they're stuck. In your story, your message, your content, you reaching out, you could make the difference for them. If you actually believe that, it's going to just change the energy with which you show up and open you up to amazing new opportunities that, again, you can't predict 10 years in advance. So it's a challenge. It's a call to action today. If you love setting your 10-year goals and it works for you, amazing, keep going. Do what works for you. But if you feel like you're judging yourself against them, if you feel like they're not working for you, if you feel like you're 6 months in and you already want to change it, the problem is not that it's a 10-year goal. The problem is that you have already outgrown what you're capable of. You've already outgrown it 6 months in, a year in. And the thing that you won't outgrow is the mission. To have a goal, have a purpose so big that you never solve it, and you wake up every day trying to solve it.
Rule number 9, be willing to walk alone.
The people you're surrounded by matters. Your environment right now, the people you hang out with, it's all been perfectly designed to keep you stuck, to keep you small, to keep you where you are, to keep your growth curve slow. We have these negative voices in our heads, but somebody put those voices in your head. You telling yourself that you suck and you can't do it, that's not your voice. When you're born, everything is possible. Think about it, even when you were a kid, your dreams, your goals, what you wanted to be, what you wanted to do. I remember I wanted to be a baseball player in the summer and then be a fireman or a police officer in the winter, in the off season. And think about what happens to those dreams. Now, some of them might have been we've outgrown them. Why did I want to be a police officer? Maybe because I saw a police officer on the street or something. But some of them we outgrow. But a lot of times we just also not just outgrow the idea of it, but it gets knocked out of us. That sense of hope and potential and what we can do and where we can go and what we can learn and who we can be, it gets knocked out of us. By our parents, by our teachers, by the people around us, by society, by school, it gets knocked out of us. And that is not good. It sucks. Your environment has been perfectly designed to keep you stuck, to keep you safe, and to keep you small, but that is not your voice. That is not your voice. And so part of the work is finding your voice and being willing to go down the path that nobody else is going down. One of the reasons why entrepreneurship is so hard is that people feel like they're stuck. Have you felt stuck? Have you felt like you're the only one who's doing what you're doing? Do you feel like Nobody understands you. Nobody gets you. Nobody supports you. Nobody's here to tell you what you can do in a loving way forward. Nobody is as optimistic or as hopeful or as ambitious as you. And it's not that those people don't exist, it's just not in your environment. And it's easy to stay being that big fish in a small pond, you know? It's easy to stay stuck being the person who's constantly pouring and loving and caring and giving into others. But at what point do you decide that you need more for yourself as well? Because when you can be around people who are doing bigger things that push you, that make you see things are possible in a whole new way, it just changes everything. When I got started as an entrepreneur, I had business partners, so that was really helpful. But apart from that, I isolated myself. I didn't see my friends. I had no money. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I was alone, which made it really difficult for me to wake up every day and go do the thing that I wanted to do, and just took its toll on my self-worth and self-esteem, you know, that this isn't working. I poured so much energy and love and heart into, and it's just not working out. And one of the things that helped was getting a mentor. And over the years, I've had a bunch of mentors who've helped me with different things, and I've realized in that process that I'm not a dummy, that I'm not stupid, and that when I have somebody to guide me and help me, and when I'm around other people who are going through similar things, it helps lift me up. And you'll have moments where you'll have people who are way ahead of you, but it's not only the people who are way ahead of you. You know, just being around people who are happy. How many of the people around you are happy and optimistic and positive? Just being around people who are ambitious and going after their dream, just being around those people starts to change things. So let me share two examples. One, if we're looking at pointing up, learning from somebody who's done a lot more than us. I recently came back from Phoenix, Arizona. I was speaking at a couple events. In one of the groups, you had to pay $100,000 to be in. It's a pretty high level group, pretty impressive people. And on the last day, I had breakfast or coffee with one of the members at his home. And calling it a home is an understatement. It's like 4 homes in one home. It's a compound. And this guy had just sold his business for over $200 million. And hanging with him and seeing how he reacted to things and getting some feedback on my business, I came away not just with ideas on what to do, but just inspiration and motivation and excitement and energy. It's like, wow, this guy's just playing at a whole other level. And coming home, it's like I'm on the airplane, I'm on fire, you know, let's get to work. Let's start building the empire. Let's start having a bigger impact and reaching even more people. But it's not every day that you can kind of go hang out with people who sold a business for $200 million, right? Like, oh, that's easy for you. You know, you met that person. What am I supposed to do? So you find peers, you find communities, you find clubs. And that's why I created Movement Makers, which is awesome. And every 2 weeks we meet and connect, and I'm helping thought leaders who are on the way up build their content, build their movement, get their message out to the world. And the biggest part of it is, I think, not being able to learn from me and hang out, but being able to be with other people who are doing something similar. That we do challenges where people are making content together and going live together. And the amount of times people have come in and have never gone live or are afraid to make their first video, and then somebody says, hey, I'll help do it with you. Let's go live together. It makes such a difference. Who's doing that for you? Who's taking your ideas and saying, hey, let's go do that together. I'll help you. And so joining some kind of community. And they don't have to be people who are way far ahead of you. You know, you may not be connecting with a $200 million entrepreneur, but just people who are on the same path, who are lifting others up, who are pouring into you, who are ambitious as well. Just being around them makes a huge difference. A guy, an entrepreneur I invested into, Alex, has been struggling with not having entrepreneur friends and connections and being the lonely entrepreneur. So I said, just go join some entrepreneur events, go to some entrepreneur meetups, and go to conferences that are happening in the city. And he just recently went to one, I said, listen, your goal here is not to learn from the speakers. You won't be impressed by the speakers. You already know most of the content. Your goal is for the energy and connection. Your goal should be to talk to 25 people each day. There are 2 days, so go talk to 50 people. And then out of that, to be able to have a connection with a couple of people that you want to follow up with. And so, tomorrow he's going downtown to meet one of the entrepreneurs that he met at the event. That's much more powerful than learning, because he knows all the content. He consumes my content. He watches the videos. He's a learner. The point of going there is not to learn from the speakers. The point is to go and meet and connect with other people. And so join some kind of community for whatever the thing is that you're trying to do, so that you're willing to walk alone, but hopefully you don't have to. And then last but not least, I'd suggest just consuming content. It's what really helped me. It still helps me. If I'm learning from Elon Musk or Oprah Winfrey or whoever it is, feature their videos. Sometimes if I wake up and the energy's not there, I'll go for a morning walk, which always helps. And then I'll feed my mind with the video from something on my own channel. I still make the videos for me because I want them and I need them every day as a reminder to think bigger, to play a bigger game, that what I'm doing is possible, that it can happen, that others have proved it, and that I just need to believe more. It is scary and hard to run your own race. And a lot of people will doubt you along the way and tell you that it's not possible, even if it's in a loving way. It's not possible, that you can't do it. And we often then lead to doubt in ourselves. And that voice comes in and says that we can't do it. And so the answer is to start to shift the environment, to start to eliminate the people who are creating those negative thoughts around us, to start to try to get some mentors to help teach and learn, to try to join a community of people who are just as ambitious as we are, trying to accomplish great things, and to be around the content of people who inspire us to want to go off and be amazing. You can do that. Your environment's been perfectly designed to keep you where you are, but you don't have to stay stuck where you are. Where you are at the end of the life doesn't have to be where you are right now. The difference is going to be how much you're changing up the environment and the people you're hanging out with.
And rule number 10, the last one before our very special bonus clip, is want it badly enough.
What stops us from chasing our obsession is the judgment that it's wrong. We feel that it's wrong to pour so much time and energy and effort into something, especially if it's not working out and paying dividends and results. It's, yes, the people around us telling us that, what are you doing? That's crazy. Stop doing it. But it's also us. It's our own voice in our own head saying, can I do this? Am I wasting my time? Is this thing even worth doing? And then what ends up happening is you regret not taking the action, right? We don't regret the things that we do. Often, it's usually the things that we don't do, the actions untook, the goals that you had that you were too afraid to do something on, and that obsession that we felt was wrong. Think of this in my life. I used to judge myself a lot on this, and I would get obsessed. Like, one of the things that I think now is a core strength of mine is I get obsessed on something, and then it has to happen. I was at an event, and it was a YouTube event, and there was a really, really big famous guy, runs a bunch of events, pretty well known, and I was on him for, you got to start a YouTube channel, dude. You got to start a YouTube channel. And I was just on him. Fast forward to today, is about 3 years ago. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got 6 figures in subscribers, and he's on my mind because I was texting him some thumbnail ideas this morning. And I was on him. I couldn't let it go. Like, this has to happen. You need to do this. And it just felt right. And that energy and that conviction is one of the things that help move the needle. And you've got ideas and energy and great things in you, and products you want to create, and services you want to launch, and people that you want to serve and help, and trust it and listen to it. The thing that's in your heart that is this little, it's a muscle to develop the courage to follow the obsession, because a lot of our brain takes over and tells us to be safe and be practical and do the smart thing and make sure that you're paying your bills and all of that. And yes, of course, you have to learn how to pay your bills. But where are we taught the courage muscle? Where are we taught the obsession muscle? Where are we taught to you've got this dream that is noble and worthy? Where are we taught to actually follow through on it and at least do something about it? So over the years, it's taken me a long time, and the goal with this video is to try to help it not take as long for you. Over the years, I used to judge myself for wanting something and just thinking about it constantly. And sometimes those ideas lead to long-term projects. I look at my YouTube channel. My main channel, it's been 13 years. 13 years. 13,000 videos, something like that. Not all of them are public. How? Well, it's because I'm obsessed. I want to bring more value. I want to create more content. I want to impact more entrepreneurs. It's how do you stay consistent on something? Well, because I want to do it, because I'm obsessed about it, because I feel like it's going to matter. Even at the beginning, when I had 25 subscribers in my first year and 7,000 subscribers after 5 years, like, how do you keep going? Well, I was obsessed with trying to make content that I thought would help some people. And that's been a long-term obsession. There are some that are a lot shorter term. I remember I was writing my book, Your One Word, also Built to Serve. Both of my books were flowing through me. And there was every reason why I shouldn't do it. Your One Word, I finished writing the book on my cruise. I was on vacation with my wife and we were enjoying our vacation, and it was flowing through me. It was like, I need to do this. And so while she slept, I wrote my book. And while she went to a show or did something at the spa, I finished writing the book. We still did the excursions and saw the cities together, but the second part of the cruise, I was just in, it was flowing through me. I had to get this thing done. Otherwise, I know I'm going to regret it. For Built to Serve, I wrote it when I was on my tour in 2019, and I did not have time to write a book. I did not have time. I mean, I was behind on everything. We're traveling every 4 days to a new city. I'm presenting. I did not have time to do this. I did not have time. And yet it was flowing through me, and like, I'm obsessed. I have to get this done. I have to get this done. And with experience and age and time, I've learned to lean in on those things instead of judge them. Where typically what happens is you come up with a great idea, you think it's great, like, has a lot of potential, and then you immediately judge it to say, well, I can't do that. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I don't have the skills. I don't have the money. Why am I still spending all this time on thinking about some idea that I could never do? We instantly judge it. And maybe you do a little bit of work on it. You start trying and you taste and you test and you explore a little bit. And then what happens? If you don't get immediate results, you wake up the next day or the next week or the next month and say, see, I knew you couldn't do it. You're crazy. Why would you think you could do this? And instantly we talk ourselves down from it. And what I've learned to try to do, and I'm still working on it, is to listen to that intuition and listen to that gut. And it's right, and it's noble, and great ideas flow through you, and stop judging them. And so the process I use is, one, that great ideas flow through me. So just believe that great ideas flow through you. This is how you eliminate the overthinking and your brain getting in the way. You come with a great idea, your brain gets in the way. How do you get out of that? Great ideas flow through you. Just trust a great idea. The fact that it came to you, as long as you're in a positive, optimistic energy, serving state. If you're feeling jealous or rage, or if somebody cuts you off in line, I'm in my car right now, we're parked, but if somebody cuts you off when you're upset, maybe the idea that comes to you is not a great idea. But if you're feeling positive and encouraged and optimistic and serving and want to help, and an idea comes to you, trust the great ideas flow through you. Just tell yourself, great ideas flow through me. And that at least gives me the courage to stop overthinking and start doing something. Step number 2 is just get started. Start. I call it the 2% difference. What's the first 2%? We waste our best energy on trying to plan out 100% of where this company or idea, business is going to grow. That's not the way to do it. You'll never plan it out 100%. You have no idea what's going to happen with this thing. And so instead of spending your best energy, this is the problem. You spend your best energy. Oh, it could be like this. We could do that. Oh, here's how it could work out. Your energy, where you feel confident and bold, you spend your best energy on research and planning instead of doing something. And research and planning are important, but it can't be the first step, because you're, again, wasting your best energy. You wake up the next day, you feel like, oh, I can't do this. So instead, your best energy, the first step, needs to be the first 2%. You're doing something. You're calling somebody. You're booking something. You're creating something. When I had an idea to start a podcast, I messaged my friend Mark and said, we're going to start a podcast. And he said, when? Tonight. What do you mean when? Tonight. When I'm back from my tour in a month and a half? No, we're starting it tonight. But we don't have the gear. What are we going to talk about? And we'll figure it out. We're going to drive to my Airbnb and we're going to launch our podcast together tonight. It has to happen tonight or it's not going to happen. Right? That becomes the process. Super important. And step number 3 is just expect to suck at the start. Expect to suck at the start. We expect to be great for whatever reason at the beginning of when we're doing our thing, right? We expect to be great. Don't expect to be great. Expect to suck. Expect the first thing to be terrible, for it not to work out. Cheers. It's not going to work out. Not as you plan. Not at the beginning. You don't get on a bike and just ride it. You don't make a video and just crush it. Right? It doesn't mean that you suck as a person. You just don't have the skill set yet. And by practicing and trying and tasting and testing, you'll get a little bit better. And when you start something and you expect to be great and then you're not great, you quit. But when you start something and you expect it to be terrible, then anything above terrible is progress, is momentum, is a win. And celebrate that. Celebrate the fact that you took a step. Celebrate the fact that you recorded a video. Celebrate the fact that you wrote the first page in your book. Celebrate the fact that you launched your first episode of a podcast, even though you don't know what questions to talk about, what questions to ask, the formatting, all of that stuff. That doesn't matter. You started. Momentum. You celebrate the momentum and expect the results to suck at the beginning. And if you keep going, you'll learn the skill to get better at the thing. So it's okay to be obsessed. It's okay. There's a great idea inside you that you know you want to work on, that you know you need to do. Be obsessed on it. Start small. Create something right now. Apply the 2% difference. Trust that great ideas flow through you. Expect to suck at the beginning and make it, because otherwise you'll look back on your life at this moment and say, I could have done something back then and I wish I had.
So I have a slightly different take on meditation, and if you've been struggling with meditation in your life, this might help. I first off believe in the power of meditation. I believe the science, I believe all the studies, and I used to judge myself and feel really bad about it because I felt like I couldn't meditate. I would sit there on the couch or on the pillow or on the bed or lie down, and I never felt anything when I was meditated. I could sit and I could be present, and I could do it, and I could sit there for 20 minutes and it felt like 20 minutes, but I never felt any different. I think that was where it started to shift for me, is not that I didn't feel anything in the moment, but I never felt any different coming out. And I've meditated with some of the best meditation teachers on the planet, and it's never really led to an impact for me in the moment or afterwards or sustained. And I, again, would judge myself really harshly, like, hey, I want to make this work. How do I make this work? I believe in the science. Let's go and make it work. What I've distilled it down to is into 2 parts. One is a lot of meditation, a lot of benefits I believe from meditation are really just about being present and being mindful. And that is something that I can do a lot more naturally than maybe most people, and I don't find a lot of benefit in it because I'm more there than not. So I'm 85% present, 15% future focused, and 0% past focused. When you are thinking about the past, it's usually in a really negative way. Sometimes we look backwards and to the past, and it's gratitude and remembering great memories and looking at all the great things we've done. But for the most part, when you look backwards, it's negative. It's regrets. It's I wish I did this, or why did that person do that to me, or I wish I had said something different. We're looking negatively on our past, mostly through the lens of regret and what you did or what other people did. And when you're looking forward, entrepreneurs love looking forward and the vision and the building and what you can create and all the amazing things. But a lot of looking forward is also uncertainty and stress and anxiety in what may happen and what could happen and what might happen if X happens, and just we're stuck in these negative loops. A lot of the backwards thinking is negative through the lens of regret, and a lot of the forward thinking is negative through the lens of anxiety, stress, and worry. And so that's where, hey, if you're present-minded, you're going to be a lot happier. You're going to be a lot more focused, right? If you're just thinking about what you should have done or what might happen to you, you're not actually able to be productive and get stuff out right now in the present. And so the job becomes, how do I stay present? And I think a lot of that is accomplished through meditation for most people. If you're in a state of stress, thinking about the regret of the past or anxiety about the future, I think meditation can be incredibly helpful to help you get back to present, even just focusing on your breath, breathe in, breathe out. Even something as simple as that can help calm you down and get you back to the present moment, which then allows you to be able to be productive, solve the problem, be happy, because you're being more present. So for me, that's actually quite easy. I'm in the present a lot more than anywhere else. And I used to think it as a negative. A friend of mine used to make fun of me for having a bad memory. It's like, you have such a bad memory. It's like, and I later realized I don't have a bad memory. I one, remember what's important to me, but two, I'm not living in the past. Like I don't care about what happened. I'm looking at right now, today. I don't know what day it is. I don't know what day it is. I don't know. I know it's 2022 when recording this. I'd have to think about what month it is. I don't know what I'm doing after recording this video. I don't know what I did yesterday. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, let alone once I press stop on this video. I am here with you. This is my entire attention, is making this video right now. That's it. This is the present moment for me. And what I've discovered is this is meditation. At least the portion of it where you're getting back to present moment. If that's one of the main benefits of meditation, then this is meditation for me. I'm only in the present moment right now, being here, talking with you guys, and that's it. And I realize that most of my life is lived like that. Yes, I love planning for where I'm going to go, but most of my time isn't spent in planning. It's in executing, in doing. And I have to look at my calendar to see what I'm doing tomorrow or what I'm doing. When somebody asks me on a Wednesday, what's your weekend going to look like? Weekend? I don't even know what I'm doing in the next hour, let alone what I'm doing this weekend. And when people ask me on a Monday, how was your weekend? It's like, I don't know. That was yesterday. That was 2 days ago. I got stuff to do right now. I'm working on my life right now. And not just work, even just enjoying, even just life, even just me spending time with my wife or my son or on a trip. It's like, let's enjoy this moment where we're at right now. And so if that's you, I would introduce the idea of, hey, that's a different perspective shift. Like maybe you are meditating right now and you might be overjudging yourself, because if you're in the present, that's one of the biggest benefits. One of my favorite things to do every morning is I go on a belief walk. And I found when a lot of people would say, oh, I get my best ideas when I'm meditating, I get creative breakthroughs when I'm meditating. Part of that I believe is, hey, you've unblocked yourself from the past and the future, the regrets of the past, the stress of the future, to get back to present, which then calms you down to then actually be more creative and solve the problem. I found I wasn't really getting answers. I wasn't getting solutions. I wasn't being very creative, sitting down, lying down, and having my body be still, where I get a lot more of my energy and creativity and ideas when I'm moving. So I get a lot of ideas when I'm walking. So I do a belief walk every morning, which is 30 to 60 minutes. I'll take the dogs out and then I'll go for a walk, usually to Tim Hortons, grab myself a coffee, Canadian coffee brand here, and no agenda. Just think about what am I doing today? You know, what day is it? What do I want to accomplish today? Take in some fresh air, get a fresh perspective. And the act of moving, I find, gets my creativity flowing a lot more. I get ideas in the shower, you know, when I'm moving. Have you got ideas in the shower? I think that's meditation. Maybe it's a different version of it or a different definition of it, but I think that's meditation, where you can calm down, when you can focus on present, and you get some great ideas that come. I'm selling my place. We just bought a new house. We're selling this place, and the studio looks a little different. Normally I'm filming in my car because we're running some errands, or my regular studio. And to get this place ready to sell, you know, we wanted to have a place that everybody could connect to. And so what my agent did was make an office in a different room, and I'm sitting down, and I have not sat down for 2 years. I don't know when the last time I sat down to actually work. And you might even notice me, I'm shuffling around a little bit. I like to move. Normally I'm on a trampoline and I'm bouncing 20 to 40,000 times a day. And I got that because I would find that when I did phone calls, I would much rather stand up and walk around the office than just sit down. And so I'm a lot more creative and have a lot more energy when I'm moving. And maybe that movement in my energy creates movement in, you know, brain energy and capacity and thinking and creativity as well. But all of that is my form of meditation. And so anytime that I would challenge you to at least consider the fact that anytime that you're present, anytime that you are focused on something, that you can consider that part of the benefits of meditation. The second part of meditation that I haven't fully connected to yet and I don't have a solution for yet is when you access theta waves. And that's basically when you're bouncing between conscious and subconscious and where you feel like time flies. So for me, when I sit down or lie down doing a meditation, if it's 20 minutes, it feels like 20 minutes. And I don't think I'm hitting any theta levels. I can sit there and be present and focus on my breath, or, I've chewed a cookie for half an hour or an hour and never swallowed it. Like the focus and the presence I can do, but it still feels like it's 20 minutes or half an hour or an hour. I've never had I sat down for an hour and, it felt like I was only out for 5 minutes. I get that more through the work that I'm doing. I get that more. I recently did a 6-hour Q&A with Tom Bilyeu's Impact Community on his Discord, and it was 6 hours. I didn't go to the bathroom. I didn't take a break. I was reading the questions and answering the questions. My throat was burning. Didn't even notice it till the end, and that 6 hours flew. Where that felt. If you asked me how long was it, I would have said, I don't know. It was like 20 minutes, half an hour, like 6 hours. 6 hours later, still going. And then we eventually wrapped it up because I needed to go to dinner and hang out with my wife, where I said, I'm going to do this short little Q&A, and it turned out to be 6 hours. So maybe that's even a better form of meditation. Maybe when you're in your purpose and doing great work and time flies because you're having fun, maybe that is a better form of meditation for you if you struggle with just sitting down and meditating. Maybe doing that work is healing. I think a lot of people meditate to heal. And I think a part of why that could work is because you're, again, removing the stress of the past, of the regret of the past, and removing the anxiety and stress of the future. And when your body's all stressed out, it's not going to heal, right? But when you can get back to present and remove the stress, you create the conditions for healing in your body. Well, I remember when I broke my neck in 2019 and I kept doing my tour, I kept staying on it because I wanted to be around entrepreneurs. I wanted to keep doing I could have canceled the tour, wouldn't have been a big deal, but that became healing for me, in feeling like I was serving, that I was helping, sitting at the front of a room for 4 hours with immobilized, neck brace on, ice packs, on my neck, 2 or 3 pillows behind me, and I couldn't move for 4 hours, but just talk. That became healing for me. And so at least what's helped me for where I'm at right now, I'm totally open to new experiences and being changed and swaying my opinion. But for where I'm at right now, staying present and doing not just the work, but doing activities that you enjoy, that you feel are in service to others, that you feel like you're living your purpose, that you feel like you're having an impact. Think about the things that you love doing where hours get lost. I'm not talking about like opening your phone and scrolling through Instagram when you realize that 2 hours have passed and like, how did I just waste all this time? Not that, but in service of others and helping. See, I'm moving around right now. I gotta move. I can't sit still. I don't like it. When I get into creative ideas, I gotta move. I play with my ring, the ring is all over the place. It's not just on my finger. This gives me more creativity. Like the motion creates more creativity for me. And so if you find those things where you love doing, it's in service to others, it's helping people, time gets lost, and you feel it in your heart and your soul that this is the right thing for you to be doing for where you're at right now, that maybe that's, maybe just maybe that's the form of meditation that you need the most. That by staying present and helping others and being in service, maybe that's all the healing that you need. Maybe that is the present mind that you need. Maybe that is the focus that you need. Maybe that is the meditation that you're already doing. And if that gives you some extra perspective or a different view on meditation than what you might hear other places, I hope that helps. Maybe judge yourself a little bit less, or maybe lean into something that you thought didn't exist, because it's certainly played a huge impact on my life. And thank you for allowing me to share this story with you.
People aren't afraid of failing. You're afraid of failing in front of other people. You'll sing in the shower, but you won't sing on the street corner. You'll record a video, but you'll never release it. You'll be your own biggest critic, but you won't at the same time also be your own biggest fan. That needs to change, starting today. So my biggest fear is disappointing people. I'm terrified of disappointing people. The idea that you would come to my Thought Leadership Academy and I would teach you how to win on social media and get the ideas out of your head and pay $2,000 to do it. The idea that you would come and be disappointed destroys me. And it's led to some positive things in that I always over-deliver. I'm always obsessed. I'm always putting so much value to that. Even if you only get 10% of the value I'm giving, you still more than made the money that you invested into any of the stuff that I'm doing. But at the same time, it's still this fear. And so I want to attack the fear. I teach myself to attack the fear. And I think you should too. An example was when I did my tour, 90 days, 23 cities, and I did a paid tour because I was afraid to do it. Initially, it was supposed to be a free tour. It was supposed to be coffee shop meetups across the US, low risk, super easy. If one person shows up, great. If nobody shows up, awesome. If 100 people show up, great. There's no risk, right? It's free. You come, don't come, whatever. And my agent said that's playing it small. You got to charge for the event. And my first reaction was, oh my God, I can't charge for this event, right? Like, choking up because I'm afraid that if I start charging for it, then I need to bring so much more value. And because that was the reason, then I had to go off and do it. If there was a strategic reason why I should do a free event, then that's fine. My next tour I'm looking at for 2020 is going to be free, is going to be ideally, fingers crossed, I get my book deal. It's going to be at bookstores with my new book launch. So I want to do 20 something cities, East Coast, Texas, Mexico, with my book launch. And it's free to come. Hopefully you buy a book, but it's not required, but it's free to come out because it's going to be supporting the book launch. That's a strategic reason why I should be free. I didn't have a good reason why the first one shouldn't be free, why the tour this year shouldn't be free. And so I had to do it. I had to step into the fear. You have to step into the fear and do it because you need to attack the thing that you're afraid of, especially when it's related to other people, right? I'm not afraid of failing. I'm afraid of failing in front of other people. Right? I can suck all day here in the office, but I don't want to suck in front of somebody else. I don't want to make people feel like whether they're spending $50 to come and see me that was on tour or $2,000 to come see me at my Thought Leadership Academy here, I don't want people to feel disappointed. And because I feel that way, I need to step into it. And I try to teach myself, attack it, attack it, attack it. If there's no good strategic reason why, then I have to do it because otherwise I'm playing small. And even just attacking it for the sake of attacking it is good. Even if it doesn't lead to a positive result for your business, it's good because you're building strength, because you're pushing your comfort zone, because you're getting better, because you're growing. That's worth something. That's a ton of value. Because if you can conquer your fear of doing this one thing, that translates to every area of your life. If you teach yourself to have more courage, that translates everywhere. So maybe you're afraid of, if you're on a cruise ship and they bring up couples and they do a game show, you're afraid of what might happen on that game. Do it. How does that make you a better entrepreneur? It makes you 1,000 times better as an entrepreneur. Because that's the same fear that you face in your business. That fear of going on that game show on the cruise ship, that fear of taking your phone and recording a video in public on the street. These fears that seem like nothing, they show up everywhere in your life. They show up everywhere in your business. And so learning to tackle them, especially in low stakes, starts building the muscle. Who cares if you fail on a street corner making a video? Great, go do it. If that is scaring you right now, do it. Teach yourself. You do it. You have courage. You do scary things. You'll come out on the other side. You'll come out with more strength, and then you'll start seeing things happen in your business. You'll have more courage. You'll have more boldness. You'll be more willing to do things, and then your business starts taking off. You have to lose the fear of failing in front of other people. I'm going to give you 3 ways on how to do it. Step number 1 is embrace your bold ideas. I'm a big believer that when you have these moments of boldness, maybe it's happening right now, maybe you're feeling bold right now watching the video, amazing. You have these moments of boldness. We have moments of boldness. I don't think people are bold all day long, right? And if you are, then you have moments of even greater boldness. You have these moments, these spikes, these hits, right? You go to an event, I look at people come to my Thought Leadership Academy. They have these huge moments of boldness, right? And then you fall back down. And that's normal. You're watching a movie, you get inspired, you fall back down. You have a conversation, you get inspired, you fall back down. The decisions that you make in the moments of boldness, I believe, are the right ones for you. Those are the decisions you have to follow through on and embrace. And then your head talks you down from them. The head brings you back down to playing small. And so when you're feeling bold, what have you come up with? I want to go do X. You have to go do it. You have to start building momentum. You have to start committing to some other people. Embrace the bold ideas. Recognize that those aren't the crazy ideas. Those crazy ideas that come up when you're feeling bold are not crazy. Those are actually the best ones for you. You're just buried under a pile of garbage of limited beliefs on top of you. Those are the things you have to go chase down. And when it gets hard, when it gets difficult, when you want to quit, remind yourself, this idea came to me when I was feeling bold. I have to do it because I do bold things. You teach yourself. Step number 2 is expect to suck. This is where it gets super liberating. Expect to suck. The first time you do anything, expect to suck. Why do you expect to be great the first time out? Why do you expect your first video that you make to be great? It's not. It'll suck. That's the best. It should suck, right? If you are amazing at making your first video, then you should have started making videos 4 years ago. I believe that. You waited too long. Your first at anything should be terrible. It doesn't mean that you suck. I think you're amazing. You're a genius. You're Michael Jordan. You're the best of all time. It's something. But Michael Jordan didn't dunk his first ball, right? He didn't shoot and it went in right away, right? You suck at the beginning. That's normal. Learning any skill, you suck at the beginning. And it's really hard because you know what looks good. If you want to be a basketball player, you know what a good basketball player looks like. If you want to be a YouTuber, you know what a good YouTube video looks like. But then you can't do it yet. Your first one sucks, and that's where most people quit because they expect to be good. They're worried about looking bad in front of other people. They're not good the first time out, and so then they never go back to it. And this is what happens when people are growing up. You fail all the time. It's normal. It's okay. You fall down. Awesome. You get back up. You keep going. And then we stop trying. As adults, how often are you trying new things? How often are you willing to risk failure, to risk losing, to risk looking like a fool? You don't want to. And so you're not trying as much anymore. And you never find the thing that you could be Michael Jordan at. You never find it. And you get stuck in some life and some job that you hate forever. That's most people. I don't want that to be you. You need to try more. You need to explore more. You need to expect to suck. The first 18 times of doing something, you may suck. Amazing. Keep going. The most important thing is, are you liking it? Do you like the process? Successful people love the process. I love making videos. I like this process. This fires me up. I'm just sitting here by myself in my office, talking to a camera. I love it. This is great. I love it. For other people, they may hate it. Amazing. Don't do that. Go do something else. Go build little Timo toys, right? Awesome. Whoever made this. Who made this? Design in California. Oh, they didn't even give them credit. All right. Design in California. Right? Go make toys. Go do something. Go do the thing that you love. Expect to suck, but if you love the process of it, you will get better. Think about whatever you learned in school, most of it you've forgotten. But the thing that you remember, the stuff that you connected with, that you liked more. So when you love something, you're going to just learn it a lot faster. When you like something, you're going to get better a lot faster. Even if you suck at the beginning, you'll get better a lot faster. You have to find that thing. And step number 3 is tie yourself worth to the effort, not the result. What I want you to do is go home and then sleep and think, am I proud of my effort? Am I proud of what I did today? Am I proud of the effort that I put in today? I want to be proud of my effort today in making videos. Right? I'm trying my best. Maybe it's not good enough. Maybe today sucks. Awesome, but I'm trying. I'm proud of my effort. I'm proud of the attempt. Most people tie their self-worth to winning, to the results, to the money, to the gold medal, to the whatever, right? To the YouTube, to the plaques back there. You can't do that. Because if you tie your self-worth to winning, you're only going to do things that you know you're going to win at. And therefore you play small for life. If you value winning above everything else, you'll only do the things that you know you're going to win at. And so you play small for life. You stop trying new things because you're going to fail at the beginning, right? Expect to suck. You don't expect to suck. You expect to be great. And then you're not. And so you stop doing that thing. You'll only take on small projects, but you're capable of way more. You're capable of doing something much bigger. And so when you tie yourself worth to the effort, when you say, I am proud of my effort today, if you did that every day, you're going to probably lose way more than most people, right? You're going to be getting up and losing almost every day. And then you have these big wins. But when you look back on this year of losing, you'll see, holy cow, how much have I grown? And you're actually winning way more than most people, way more than who you used to be, because you're proud of your effort. If you get up every day and you're proud of your effort, your life will change. Your business will change. Like every day for the next year, do something that makes you proud of your effort in your business, in your relationship, proud of your effort. You tried your very best today. Your life will be dramatically different. But it's because you're so focused on winning. You're so focused on the results. But then you play small because you don't want to risk losing. You don't want to risk failing. You don't want to risk looking like an idiot. You have to, if you want the life that you're after. Michael Jordan missed more shots than most people. You're gonna fail at most things. Most of my videos suck and don't go anywhere. It's the best. Get up, try again. Be proud of your effort every single day.
80% of our inner dialogue is negative, and 95% of those thoughts are the same thoughts that we had yesterday. That's what Beth Handel taught me. She's Gary Vee's life coach. We had an awesome session together, and it really hit home. Imagine that 80% of the thoughts that you've got, 80% are negative. We are beating ourselves up. We are telling ourselves that we can't do things. It's not even our friends and family, the people around us telling us that we suck. It's us, it's ourselves. We tell ourselves we're not good enough, we can't do this, we're not strong enough, smart enough, we're from the wrong country, we look the wrong way, you know, we're too young, we're too old, whatever it is. 80% of our thoughts are negative. And then 95% of those negative thoughts are the exact same negative thoughts that we had yesterday. It's no wonder why we stay small. It's no wonder why we stay stuck, because we've created this reinforcing loop of negativity. This is why I think the world's biggest problem is lack of belief. You know, I'm on a mission every day, wake up, try to make content, try to spread the message to help people believe in themselves more. I think lack of belief is the single biggest problem in the world. And I also believe that everybody has Michael Jordan level genius at something. Like, you are the greatest. You're the greatest in the world at something. And it's not what you went to school for, and it's not what your parents did for a living, probably. It's something completely different. And you have to have the courage to go off and chase it and find it and do it, because the woman who solves cancer should have already solved it by now, but she never believed in herself enough to go to medical school. And now she's a manager in an accounting firm, and she doesn't like her life, right? I mean, this is where most of us are stuck. Most people wake up and they drive to a job that we don't like. Most people are stuck and barely hanging on and do not like their life and feel like they're not contributing, they're not making any kind of difference, they're not doing anything meaningful or impactful at all in the world. That's most people. Like, imagine waking up and that's your daily reality. That may be you. Or that may have been who you were and you're still discovering and trying to improve and get better. But if 80% of those thoughts that come through your head, conscious or unconscious, are negative, I think a lot of conscious thoughts are negative too. Not just the subconscious, the conscious thoughts are negative. You telling yourself that you can't do something and you're not good enough. And then 95% are the same as yesterday, that we've just created this loop, this negative thinking loop. So how do we break it? How do we break free? How do we solve that problem? Well, that's the billion-dollar question, and that's what I wake up every day trying to fix. And I can give you a couple things that I've worked on and I've found helpful and hopefully helps move the needle. They don't have all the answers, but some of these might help. The first one is to change your environment. The environment makes such a huge difference for who you are and your daily habits and what you believe about yourself. And the environment is not just the people who are around you, although that definitely helps. You know, if you've got negative friends or family around you, you want to eliminate them completely or spend a lot less time with them, because it's really, really, really hard to have a beautiful plant grow when it's just, you know, toxic waste being poured on top of them. Doable, but really, really, really difficult. And so changing that can really help. And one of the best ways I found to do it is content. It's content. It's why I make so much content for these channels, that hopefully you wake up today and there's a piece of content there waiting for you, whether it's me or showcasing somebody else. Across all my channels, we're making multiple pieces of content every single day to try to hit it in the right way. Maybe today's message with the right voice is the one that makes a difference for you. And if you can shift the amount of entertainment you're doing, or just shutting off the world, some of the content that you consume just helps you shut off the world and escape, versus educational content that helps you learn, improve, get better, and solve the problem, right? Entertainment is let's forget about the problem and just laugh at something else. Education is let's learn to actually fix the problem that is happening in our life, right? I want to lean in on that a lot more. It doesn't mean that entertainment doesn't exist in your life. It's not only education, but if you can shift the needle towards education, to be around the people who inspire you, even if you've never met them, it can really move the needle for your inner dialogue and your self-confidence. So the thing that saved me in my first business in doing this was modeling Bill Gates from Microsoft. When I quit on my business partner, I struggled. I didn't know, I felt worthless. Nothing was working. I was working every day and just no results. And in looking at Bill Gates' story, that changed my life. It saved my business. It allowed me to keep going because now I had a little bit of hope that, if Bill Gates could do it, maybe I could too. And the more you surround yourself with those people, the more you'll feel like you can do it too. So do an audit. How many people in your life, the actual humans that you know, and also just the people that you subscribe to, that you follow, how many of them make you feel better about yourself? And for too many people, it's not enough. It's look at who you follow on YouTube, look at who you subscribe to, look at who you're connecting with on Instagram. If you're loading your phone and you're going through Instagram or you're watching YouTube videos, how many times have you gone through it and all of a sudden an hour has gone by and you were mindlessly watching videos, or even worse, made you feel worse about yourself? You ever felt that? You watch a video and then you feel worse about yourself afterwards, or you're following somebody and it makes you feel worse about yourself? You have a choice to unfollow those people. This is not Instagram's fault or YouTube's fault. You can take accountability here. You have a choice to unfollow those people, and then a choice to follow the people who make you feel better about yourself. That's my aim with all these videos. I want to leave you with strategies, but also more belief in yourself at the end of every video. And if I do that, awesome. You want more belief in your life? Come back. Another shot of espresso tomorrow morning. We're here. And if I don't do that, cool. Thank you for giving it a shot. And don't quit on that. Go find somebody else who gives you the motivation, inspiration that you need. And so you can make a conscious choice, because it's so easy to stay stuck. It's so easy to stay small. It's so easy to be the one that pours into other people and not have anybody pour into us. And you need to make a conscious choice to raise your environment, to change your environment. And it doesn't mean you have to go move to a different country or move to a fancier house or anything else. You start by just changing who you associate with, even at a mass scale, right? I've learned a lot from Steve Jobs. I've been inspired by Oprah Winfrey. My favorite entrepreneur of all time is A.P. Giannini, who started Bank of America. These are people who I've never met, and in the case of Jobs and Giannini, I never, will meet because they passed. But I've been inspired by them, and they've made me better, and they've taught me, and I've learned from them, and they've inspired me, and I get courage from them because I've consumed their content. And you can do that too. It's just being intentional about it, so that when you raise your environment, you raise your life. The second thing is try not to do it alone. It's really hard to go after a goal, to change your mindset, to accomplish big things when you're doing it all by yourself. This is why a lot of people quit, because you might have one amazing day, or you watch the right video, or you have the right experience, and it's like, "Damn, I want it. This is the life I want." You ever had that, right? Like, this is the life that I want. This is who I want to be. This is where I could go. You have a glimpse of a potential future that you could be. It's like, I want that. And you actually feel in your heart that you can be that. You can accomplish that, right? Has that happened to you? And then what happens? The next day you wake up and it's kind of gone. And then the next day it's completely gone. And then you're back to your old life and the limiting beliefs and the habits. And you gain back the 20 pounds. And like, how did I end up back here? I thought I fixed this, right? Has that ever happened to you? A lot of it is because you're doing it alone. And this took me a long time to figure out. As an introverted person, as a shy person, as somebody who doesn't like asking for help, as someone who's afraid of disappointing people, being a part of a community it just sounds super scary to me. We just did our 7-day challenge for Built to Serve, and a bunch of people joined Movement Makers. We had almost 100 people join Movement Makers at the end of it. And it's people who want to be thought leaders and want to be speakers and authors and coaches and course creators and membership creators and all of this stuff. There's a big impact to spread your message. And I was giving people a lot of not just encouragement, but respect. Like, the people who ended up joining, I just had incredible respect for, because I wouldn't have done it. If I go back to 19-year-old Evan, when I started my first business, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have had the courage to do it. I wouldn't have joined the group. We had people sharing their videos, like, tell us about your who, your why, your how. Is this methodology from the book, but make a video, sharing your purpose and your biggest pain of all time, and some of these, kind of deep things that you have to record and share. And I mean, it was optional. Not everybody did it, but in doing that,
For a lot of people, it was their first video that they've ever done. For a lot of people, it was the first time they've even shared their story to anybody. They were sharing things in the group that they hadn't told their spouse, or their family, or their best friend. And now they're making a video in their car sharing their story. And you see them become liberated. You see them start super scared and afraid and unsure and fixing their hair and apologizing for the lighting not being good, and then being in the car and not knowing what they're doing, to then just seeing the transformation of somebody going through the cocoon, being a caterpillar and turning into a butterfly and sharing their story for the first time. And I was in awe because I couldn't imagine me doing that at 19 when I started my first business. I was too afraid to join a community. I was too afraid of being judged. I was too afraid of being not good enough. And that kept me small. It kept my growth really slow. Fortunately, I kept going. If you've seen my chart on my website where I show how much I've grown every year, over year, where I've been, took 5 years to get to 7,000 subscribers or something like that. And I just kept going. And the one thing that I've got was just tenacity and drive, and I will just keep going in the face of adversity. But I made it just incredibly hard on myself, being alone, not being open to sharing with my friends what I was struggling with, and never joining a community. So I think that can really help you. I think trying to go and change your mindset and accomplish big things that nobody around you has done yet. And there are some days that you feel incredibly inspired and motivated and powerful. It's like, yeah, I can do this. But you're probably not living there most of the time. What if you did? Or what if you lived kind of close to that most of the time? And point number one of raising your environment can definitely help. But point number two is just don't try to do it alone. Even if it's one person. You don't have to join Mover Makers. You don't have to join a group. But even just one person. One person who you can talk to, who you can connect with, who you can, share your stories with. Not just complain to, not talk about how hard everything is and just have somebody to vent to, but somebody who supports you. If you had a group of people who supported you, where you felt welcome, we felt like you weren't alone on this journey, we felt like people understood you, and were actually genuinely cheering you on to go, become the person that you want to be, everything changes. So raise your environment, get a community, and watch your impact happen.
I was in New Mexico, and I was doing, on Super Bowl Sunday, my workshop. And it was the smallest group on our tour. And we were talking about morning routines. And there was a woman there, and I asked her, what's the most important part of your morning routine? And she said, prayer. I said, so you pray, how often do you pray? Every day, every day, every day. She prays, perfect. How often do you feel the prayer? How often do you feel the connection? And how often are you just saying the words? And she said, like half the time. Great. Other people might look to her and say, well, look, you do it every day. Even for herself, she might look in herself and say, great, I did it every day. As achievers, we like to check the box, right? You like to check the box, say, I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it. I prayed, I watched the video, I read the book, I brushed my teeth, whatever. You have your checklist and you did it, right? And you feel great that you did it. But if you don't get the feeling of courageousness and you just check the box, it doesn't count. So watching a video might be part of your morning routine. Great, I'm, if it's mine, I'm honored to be a part of your journey. If it's somebody else's, amazing, do that too. But if you know that watching a video is the thing that helps make you feel alive, bold, confident, you know that there are some days that watching a video actually makes you feel that way, and other days where it doesn't. And you know that watching the same video over and over and over and over every day will lose its impact super quick, right? Day one, you're motivated. Day two, already you've lost like 80% of the motivation that you got from day one. Day three, it's basically over. You run it for a month, forget it. Like you've already memorized the words, that the words don't mean anything to you anymore. So you have to have some variety. And if you're watching a video while you're doing something else,
This is the achiever's curse. You're watching a video while you're brushing your teeth, while you're taking the dogs out, while you're cleaning the sink, while you're making the bed. You're distracted, you're doing something else, you're trying to multitask, right? Here's what happens to the achievers. You still get to check the box to say that you watched the video. But because you weren't present for the video, guess what happens? There was no retention. There was no feeling. You don't feel ready to take on the day. You don't feel the boldness, the courageousness, and therefore you don't go and have a great day, even though you checked off everything on your morning routine. That's what makes a difference. So if you get to the end of your morning routine and you don't feel bold, powerful, courageous, ready to go for the day, there's one of two things that you have to do. One is you audit your morning routine. You say, what's missing? You know, like, does this still work for you anymore? What's missing? Do I need to add something in? Do I need to add an espresso video in during the morning? Do I need to add reading? Do I need to add working out? Do I need to add writing my goals down? Like, what do you need to do to add and tweak and experiment and see if it makes you feel better? Or two, maybe you just need to do the routine again, but with more intention. Maybe you did the whole routine while you were distracted. Maybe you did the whole routine while you're thinking of something else. So you don't get the feeling. There's nothing wrong with the routine. The routine is great. The routine is perfect for you. But if you don't show up with intention, if you don't show up and be focused on it, you're not going to get the feeling. You could sit there and be in the chair. You know, think about going to classes, going to school. You could sit there and be in the chair. It doesn't mean that you're going to learn. You could sit there and watch a video, but if you're brushing your teeth and doing 8 other things, you're not going to get the feeling. This is the loving push forward that I hope you accept. Because everybody else is going to look at you and see how much you're doing and how perfect you are and how much momentum you have and how many things you're doing, and they look up to you in awe, and you're an inspiration to them. And you should be, because you are doing amazing things. And at the same time, you know it's nothing compared to what you could do. But the difference between where you are right now and where you want to go is actually not that big. The difference is just minor tweaks between where you are right now and where you want to go. For most of you, it's just minor tweaks. This is one of those minor tweaks. That if you could just stay consistent on having a morning routine, and then inside of that consistency, doing the thing that makes you feel bold, powerful, unstoppable, alive, ready to start the day, not expecting to be amazing when you wake up, but then doing the thing that brings that out of you every single day, your life will change.
You can change the negative patterns that are running your life. The patterns that you think are impossible to break, that have been with you for life, that will be with you for the rest of your life, you can break them. It starts with a decision. And if you don't want to still be in 20 years living by that same negative pattern that is holding you back, I think this video will help. Most of what we do is subconscious. Most of what we do is beneath the surface. Most of what we do is what we've been conditioned to do and the patterns that we've seen. And you know, if you're watching this, you're likely an adult, and we've been running the same pattern programming for a number of years, if not decades. And it can be really difficult to be able to switch that pattern. But I'm going to give you a formula today that I think will really help, and one that I'm applying myself as well in my life. So step one is even just acknowledging that the pattern exists and that you want to make a change. Like, what is the habit? What is the negative loop that's in your mind? What is the thing that you don't want to still be thinking in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? What is that thing? One of the things that I'm working on is moving to a space of great things happen to me. I had a great video coaching session with Beth Hendel, and my big aha moment that came from there was I believe in the plan. So whenever I am thinking of something, I make a plan, and then I execute the plan. And I do the plan and I follow the plan. And when I don't believe in the plan, then I create a new plan, then I believe in that plan, and that's the thing that gets me going. So I'm very plan, schedule, calendar oriented. That gives me my security, that gives me my identity. And so as long as I have a plan, easy peasy, let's go. We're waking up, we're making videos because it's in the plan. But then what happens on the rare days, you know, maybe once a month, where I don't believe in the plan anymore. I don't think the plan is good enough to get to where I want to go. And I can't make a new plan. I don't know what the next plan should be. What I have done so that I don't get lost and spiral down into negative thinking, into maybe not depression, but anxiety and stress and overwhelm that I don't know what to do next. You ever been faced with that? Like, I don't know what to do next. My plan has been, my plan, see, I'm using the words, just to tell myself, great things happen to me. This is what I've done. It's been my coping mechanism. The way out of the stress and the anxiety and not knowing what to do next is me telling myself great things happen to me. And what Beth challenged me to do, and the big insight that came from it, was living not in the identity of the plan, but living in the great things happen to me. So now I'm trying to shift my identity from being the guy who believes in the plan to being the guy who believes that great things happen to me. That instead of using great things happen to me just as a coping mechanism on my worst days, the once a month days when I really don't believe that I'm getting closer to my goals or I'm never gonna hit them, and flipping that to being the default mode. That's really hard. I was not born the plan guy. It took me decades. I'm 42 coming up in May. I'm 42, and it took me decades to become the plan guy. 2 decades to become the plan guy. And now I'm not getting rid of the plan guy. Thank you, plan guy. You got me here. I appreciate you, pat on the back. I still need you. Please stay with me on this journey. But I want to be the guy who believes that great things are coming. Because at the end of the day, all your great things, all your great ideas, all your great breakthroughs usually don't come as a result of the plan. It's maybe a byproduct of the plan, but not a direct result of the plan. Because the plan only is something that exists right now. It's what I've talked about, making decisions with your head versus your heart. Big decisions with your heart, small with the head. The head only understands the world that currently exists, where your heart can create something brand new. And so I want to be in the brand new. I want to create something that hasn't been done before. And so you can't plan for something that hasn't been done before. And you need to have some faith that great things will happen. And so that's a long way of me saying that I am trying to become the guy who believes that great things happen to me as a default state. I believe that. When I say that, when I create video and I say that on camera, or when I'm talking, I believe that. I believe the great things come to me. If I keep going, if I keep making, if I keep sharing, if I lead with my heart, if I tap into what I feel is the right thing to do, even if it doesn't make sense, I believe that great things will happen. And I've seen enough of that happen over my life and career that I believe it. And if you're not quite there yet, just look for some small wins. That when you have helped, when you have shared, when you have created from the heart, you've gotten some small wins. And if you keep going, you can have slightly bigger wins and medium-sized wins and then large wins and then gigantic wins. You just keep going. So how do I shift? And we're working through this in real time. I'm not sharing a story that is, 20 years old, like I sometimes might do, the foundation story. So how do I shift? How do I shift from being the plan guy to the great things will happen to me guy? I think it could be a useful mini case study for you if there's something that you want to work on, that you want to improve at. You're tired of telling yourself a different story and you want to shift it. So here's what I'm doing. First off is trigger words, right? So if I say plan, that's a trigger word. Plan, ooh, plan, here's my plan. Like, oof, plan, I said it again. Not that it's bad, right? For yours, it might be bad. It might be a critical, you telling yourself that you're stupid or that you can't, right? Can't could be another a trigger word, or hard is another trigger word. The fact that you're not gonna do something because it's hard, that's a trigger word, right? So what are the trigger words that you tell yourself as to why you can't do something, or that keep you locked in your negative patterns? What are those trigger words that anytime you catch it, you say it, you feel it, you tell somebody else it, that like, oh, there it is again, I'm noticing it. You can tell the people in your life, your family, your friends, your spouse, the people on your team, you can tell them, hey, if I ever say this word, I want you to call me out on it. So you can have people kind of support you through this journey as well. Number 2 is you try to design in a conscious way, applying it in your life consistently. So the next thing I did as soon as I got off that coaching call with Beth was I told my wife, and I said, hey, great things happen to us. I told her what happened, and great things happened to us. Great things happen to us. Great things happen to us. And I honestly must say that at least 40 times a day. Great things happen to me, talking to myself, or great things happen to us. if you want, you can set it as an alarm in your phone. You could put it as a background on your computer screen. You can put it as a sticky note on the bathroom mirror or the door. I have an email that I sent myself that I didn't delete out of my inbox. So I always see it in my inbox every day when I'm checking my email. I check my email once a day, and it's always the last email that I check because I never remove it from my inbox. And it says, "This is your great things happen to you reminder." This is your great things happen to you reminder. Every time it's like, oh, that's right, great things happen to me. Because that's still not, it's nowhere close to being my default, but I'm working towards becoming that person. So it's the decision to do it, and then with intention, putting things into your calendar so that it happens. So again, maybe you're setting an alarm on your phone, maybe you're putting the picture up on your wall, you're telling your friends and the people around you, and you're finding a way to repeat it, to repeat it, to repeat it, to repeat it. And I'm not judging myself as to, I need to get this done next week. I just want to make a little bit of progress every day. Beth team reached out and wanted to do a round 2 of coaching. And I said, I'm still, I mean, thank you, it's amazing. I'm still working on the last thing, you know? The great things happen to me shift in mindset is something that I'm working through, and it's incredibly powerful. And I don't think I need any help for anything else yet. I'm still working through this thing. This week has been a really challenging week for Nina and myself as well. We ran our Build to Serve challenge, which was crazy. When we first did it, the idea that was pitched to me was 7 days, 45 minutes to an hour each day. And we ended up going the 7 days in 3 to 4 hours each day, which I didn't budget for, but it was amazing, helping thought leaders and speakers and coaches and entrepreneurs, authors. Just the energy and the vibe and the love was so amazing that it took up an incredible amount of time. At the same time, we just bought a brand new house, which is super exciting. And so selling this place, and so I had to move my office. You might notice it's a different background than usual. I guess I could have done it in my car. But I'm not in my usual studio, my office, because we have a makeshift office while we get our place ready to list today. So we're packing and moving and switching all the artwork and all of that stuff while running a challenge. Yesterday, I hit the side of a curb that had a rock. Not a rock, like a boulder, and it punctured my tire, and not just like giant hole in my tire. So, okay, we have to go and get the car fixed on top of everything else, which is why I can't film in the car like I normally do, because I don't have a car right now because it's being fixed because I blew out the tire, and just issue over issue over issue. And my niece was with us yesterday, and she made a comment to my wife, Nina, about how calm we were through everything. Like, okay, well, the car tire got blown out. That completely changes how we spend the rest of today now. Instead of doing these errands and taking people here and all of this stuff on Nina's birthday, by the way, it's like, okay, well, here's what we need to do now. Okay, we got to get it fixed. We got to figure out how to solve these other problems, and let's go. And my niece was blown away by how we weren't arguing or fighting or yelling or super stressed. Just, okay, let's solve the problem and keep moving on with our day. Why? Because great things happen to us. Great things happen to us. And that's, when something negative going on, even if it doesn't feel real, it'll be something that Nina and I will laugh over. Great things happen to us. Oh, that happened? Okay, great. Great thing. You know what? Great things happen to us. We will figure out a way through this. Great things happen to us. And in that ongoing conditioning, the more that it's around us, the more that I say it, I believe it a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And I guess you could call it affirmations. I never really connected to affirmations that much because it felt, if I was saying something that I didn't believe in, that it wouldn't work for me. And because I already believed that it wouldn't work for me, then I've already set myself up for failure from the beginning. I think the key thing is, if you want to be able to change that mindset, you want to change the habit loop, you have to find something that you actually, on your best days, believe. There's a kernel of truth in there, right? If you're 400 pounds and you say, I'm skinny, I'm skinny, I'm skinny, I think a lot of, in your head, you say, well, that's BS, I'm not skinny. And then there's no even kernel of truth to it, so then you never do the actions to help you get there. where on your best days, what do you believe about yourself? On your best days, how do you handle problems? So when I say great things happen to me, I believe it. I actually believe that wasn't something that was given to me. That wasn't something that somebody once told me. That wasn't somebody that a coach told me that, hey, you have to use this now as your mantra. I believe it. On my best days, I believe it. I believe it. I can tap into that and I believe it. There's a kernel of truth to it. And I want to make that kernel, grow into something much, 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 much bigger. So homework would be to think about, on your best days, what do you believe about yourself? What's the specific language, the specific words that you would say to yourself to encourage yourself, or you're looking back and you're proud of yourself? On your best days, what do you believe about yourself? And then finding a way to make that a daily part of your life, so that when the negative things come, you can tell yourself this as a reminder, and it starts to shift everything for you.
The secret to getting everything that you want out of life is to think big and act small. Think big. Have a huge dream. Create a vision for yourself that excites you, that you want to make happen. And then act small. Don't let the big dream be so big that it becomes so scary and you never start. Find the smallest possible way to just get started. Think big, act small. Otherwise, your dreams will stay exactly that. I recently had a guy pop into my Instagram live who was a fitness coach, and he's building his success up and doing one-on-one training, fitness, and helping people get results. And he said, Evan, how do I go bigger? How do I build my brand? How do I get people to know me outside of just my pocket, my community? I said, well, you have to create content. You got to be a thought leader. You got to be an expert. I got to see you doing what you're doing. How often are you making videos? I said, well, I don't know, making them once a week. Okay, great. Dude, how often do you go to the gym? How often do you work out? How often do you care about your nutrition? I said, well, every day. Like, you have to take the same approach to your business, to making content, to being a thought leader. I said, are you in shape? And at the time he's shirtless, and then he said, yeah, I'm in shape. And he pans down and you see his abs, and then back to his face, he's got this smile on his face. It's like, I love it, man. You've put that into your daily routine. You're working out and eating right as part of your daily routine. He said, yeah, but it's so hard to go off and make videos every day. What are your clients saying to you about working out and eating properly? That it's so hard. Dude, it's the same excuses. You've already figured this out in one area of your life. The problem is you're not being consistent in the other areas. That if you want to blow up and be a thought leader and get a lot of traction, attention, and views, you need to get good at the thing. You don't become great at anything doing it once a week. If you believe that you have Michael Jordan level talent at something, Michael Jordan wasn't practicing basketball once a week. You just will never get great at it. You have all of this untapped potential, all of this ability to go off and make a huge impact, but we never see it because you're doing it once a week. You just will never get good at it. You'll never get good enough at the thing if you're only doing it once a week. So he says, what do I do? Great, you put it into your routine. You already know how to do this. You just have done it for something else. All of you've already been consistent on something. Now make this next business goal part of your daily routine. It's thinking big and acting small. Most people think big and have this big vision of where they could go. It's amazing. I believe in your vision. I love you. I want to see you go off and crush that huge goal. I think you can do it. But then show me in your calendar where you take any action. Because most people are spending too much time just thinking, planning. You got to actually get going and doing it. Daily, consistent, small action. One video from my friend who's running his gym now, one video is not going to do anything. One video, one small act is not going to do anything. It's the accumulation of the daily videos that are coming out, the daily content, the daily improvements. That's where you start to build momentum. The biggest thing that's missing from most of your ideas is momentum, because you're thinking big, but you're not acting small.
Focus on one idea and make it work. Focus on one business model, focus on one revenue stream, focus on one social media network, and make it work. So many times we're focused on too many things, we're distracted, and our entrepreneur ADHD kicks in, and as a result, nothing happens for all the people who are telling you to have 13 different passive income streams, because if one goes away, you still have all these other 12. Most of the people who start off doing that make zero money from all of the passive income streams. You're making $10 a month, $4 a month, $7 a month, where instead, if you could focus on one thing and maximize it and make it amazing and put your energy into it, you will see exponential results. I look at social media as an example, and I just finished this training where we did the 7-day Built to Serve challenge. It was amazing. Had so many awesome new thought leaders come into the program. People have got a big message, want to serve. And one of the questions I kept getting asking is, how do I be on every social media platform? How do I be everywhere? How do I get started and just blow up everywhere? It's like, you don't, right? The answer is don't try to do that. If you are the person right now who is trying to be everywhere, look at your social media accounts. Chances are you're sucking everywhere. Chances are not you suck as a human, just the results aren't there. The effort's not there, the energy's not there because you're so forcing yourself to just get out there and create content and be on all the platforms that you also have a million other things that you have to do. And so as a result, you're creating really mediocre content that people aren't interacting with. And if people don't like what you're putting out, it's not going to lead to results for your business. And so much better. It doesn't mean that you can't be there, you know? It doesn't mean that at some point you can't be there. That as you build your brand and you get bigger and you hire a team and you have more money, that you can start to do this. But much better at the beginning is to figure out, what is the one platform? What is the one revenue stream? What is the one business model? The one thing that if I focus on that thing, it's going to lead to results so then I can scale. Entrepreneurs have a hard time with this because we want to do so many things. We have our ADD brain going on, and we don't want to just do one thing. We also feel like it is limiting for what we want to do, right? If you have a big vision, a big mission, a giant goal for what you want to accomplish, doing just this one little piece of it feels too small. The way that I would structure it and think about it is, this is just a sequence. You still get to do everything. You still get to do it all. You just have to go in order. You have to create a sequence that the thing that you need to focus on at the beginning of your business, whether it's your revenue stream, whether it's a social media success, whatever it is, what you have to figure out is, how do I start to, as soon as possible, get a sustainable business for myself so that I can quit my job, if you have one, so that I can bring income in for myself and my family, so I can start to afford to hire a team, even if it's part-time or one person, so you can scale up your company, so that I can then go off and do all the other things. Because some of your ideas are amazing and huge and require more people and time and effort and energy, and some of the ideas can get started a lot faster. And so if you want to go and accomplish your big goal, your big dream, your big mission, then it's important to think about the sequence of things, that instead of doing everything all at once, and as a result, all of the results being mediocre, focus on the one thing that if you push that lever and you really maximize that thing, you could start to make more money, you could start to have more impact, you can start to have more reach, you can start to see more success that then allows you to bring on more people to help you build and scale. For me, we've got 37 people on the team now, and I can do so much more, you know, because we got team than if it was just me by myself doing everything. And so in building my mission, I want to solve the world's biggest problem, right? People don't believe in themselves enough. And so in building that up, I need people, I need help, I need support, I need team, I need a lot more than what I've got right now. But in being able to build a business that can bring in money, then I can afford to hire a team that helps me accomplish a lot more things and take on a lot more projects. But if I was at the very beginning of what I was doing right now, I would not be doing most of the things that I'm doing right now. I'd still be accomplishing and going after the same mission, but I'd have to pick one thing to focus on. Pick the one thing at the beginning that I think I could make some money doing this, so that I can live, I can pay, you know, rent, mortgage, I can pay my internet bills, I can pay for some food, not living, you know, a fancy life, but just being able to live and survive so I don't have to have a job. And then I would start thinking, okay, how do I then scale this one thing that I'm working on to build up to the point where I can remove myself, or at least take some of the pieces off, so that I can hire a team to help build and scale and grow. If I look back on my YouTube journey here, I did everything at the beginning. You know, I filmed it, I researched it, I edited it, I did all of it. And it took a crazy amount of time, and I made a lot of mistakes, and I did a lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't have done. And just by focusing on that thing and making content and creating videos, it then allowed me to make a little bit of money that then I could hire my first part-time editor. that then turned into a full-time editor, that turned into a second editor and a research person, that turned into someone helping with the thumbnails and the graphics. And it continues to build up and scale for like everything I was doing myself in a mediocre way, but getting it done to then be able to scale out a team. And so most people are just stuck doing too many things. You're stuck, like, look at what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Look at your calendar. You have a limited amount of time, right? You have a limited amount of time. There's only so much you can do in a day, in a week. You have other responsibilities. Maybe you have a job. Maybe you have family, kids, health that you have to look after. You know, there's a certain amount of time that you have that you can dedicate to this thing. That time needs to go into the right efforts. And again, it's great to have that big mission and big goal and big dream. But if you have a limited amount of time every day or every week, and you are trying to create 13 passive income streams with that limited amount of time, no one of the streams ever gets enough energy, enough effort, enough of your mind space, enough of your creativity, enough of your love to ever become anything. And so you're diversifying way too quickly. You're diversifying way too soon. And apply that for anything that you're working on. Apply that to your business and the opportunities that you're chasing, the partnerships that you're looking at, the things that you're saying yes to, the social media networks that you're trying to be on. Do yourself a favor. Don't try to be everywhere. Not yet, right? Just understand there's a sequence to things. And you can make it so much easier for yourself to have more impact, to make more money, to have a bigger influence, to be more proud of yourself, to start getting more success and more results and more momentum. So much easier if you just sequence it out so that you don't have to do everything all at once. You don't have to feel the handcuffs and the restriction of saying, well, I don't want to do this one thing for the rest of my life. This is where it gets, entrepreneur ADE kicks in, right? And we don't want to be locked in. I don't want to do the same thing forever. Well, you won't do it forever. That's not the point. The point is not to do this one thing forever. That if you took these 10 opportunities in front of you, you could do all 10. You could do all 10. Just not all 10 at the same time. Because if you do all 10 at the same time, none of them are going to work out. And often it's a smaller opportunity that can pay you more quickly, that can start to build the momentum for you. So if you have your list of your 10 opportunities in front of you, 10 things that you could do, great. Look at what order should I go in so that I can start making money and start building momentum. One last quick example. I look at a lot of thought leaders, a lot of people who have a message, a lot of people want to be speakers and authors and coaches and influencers, and they've got big goals and big ambitions for what they want to create. When I'm helping someone like that, usually the first option is coaching. The best thing to do at the beginning is coaching. So we're going to dive into one specific business model, right? If you can look at, let's say, be a speaker, getting brand deals as an influencer, writing a book, and coaching. If we had those are 4 opportunities in front of you, right? Let's say. So what did I say? Being a speaker, getting paid to speak, getting paid to do brand deals, getting paid to be an author and selling books, even selling courses, your own materials and training and etc., and coaching. Those are 4 or 5 different business models that you can go through. Perfect. At the beginning, which one is the best? What should you focus on? It should be coaching. Why? People don't like the idea of coaching because you're trading your time for money, right? I don't want to trade my time for money. Okay. Well, what are you doing right now? You're at a job? Because if you're at a job, you're trading your time for money. If you have unlimited time to figure stuff out and you have a giant bank account, then you could do something different. But if you need to start to make money to build this thing up, then yes, you're trading your time for money, but it's a faster path to get you out of your job and into your business full time, where everything else takes a lot more time. Speaking takes an incredible amount of time. If you want to be a paid speaker and get paid enough that it's actually meaningful, it takes a lot of time for you to get good at the skill, as well as for you to build up momentum and a name in the industry. You have to do a lot of free speaking gigs before you ever get paid to do it. So if you have a horizon of years, awesome. but I'd rather you start get paid immediately while we work on the speaking career. You want to be an author and get paid to have a book? Cool. You can go and self-publish a book right now if you wanted to. You can get it out. You'll make, you can sell it to your friends and family, your audience. You'll make a few bucks, but it's not going to be anything meaningful. To get a paid deal or to have a significant, even if you're going self-publishing, to make a lot of money off your book, you have to have a big audience. To get the deal with a publisher, they want you to have at least 100,000 followers. That's like your starting point to get in. So is that achievable? Of course, but now we're looking at years as a horizon as opposed to like this has to happen right away. So you're not getting paid right now off of your book. So if you're sitting there thinking, writing a book, creating a great manuscript, creating a great how-to guide, it's not going to be the thing that helps get you any kind of money anytime soon. And I want you to get paid because most people quit too soon on their ideas, or they're trying to do a million different things at once, right? If you're trying to create a course, same thing, you have to build up enough momentum. You spend so much time making a course, creating the content, filming videos, or writing instruction manuals, or creating the PDFs, or whatever your course structure is. It takes so long to make the course, and then you have to go and market the course, and people don't know who you are yet. You don't have a brand yet. So could it work? Absolutely. Will it pay you more than coaching? Yes, absolutely. Most likely. It's way more easy to leverage that than coaching. But again, the timeline is so long, and most people quit too soon on it. Where if you were coaching, you can make money right away. As long as you have something that can actually help people, right? If you're good at what you do, you know how to solve somebody's problem, you can make money as a coach right away. And yes, you're trading your time for money, but it's better than having a job. And it also gets you closer to your customers. At the very beginning, I'm a much bigger fan of selling a service than a product, because it gets you closer to your customers. You get to know their problems, you know their issues, you know what exactly they're struggling with, and you can help them solve it, which allows you to create a better book, a better course, a better product, because you've worked with enough people through the problem. And so most entrepreneurs fall into the category, I want to do all of it. Great, I want to be a speaker, I want to be an author, I want to create my course, I want to create my book, I want to be a coach, I want to do all of it. Awesome. You have a limited amount of time every week. To work on all 5 of those things at the same time means there's very little progress. If that's you and you've been writing your book, how long have you been writing your book for? Like, when is it going to come out? What year? How many speaking gigs have you done in the past 3 months? Right? How much time has gone into your course? It's like we start and stop because we're tackling so many different things because you want to do it all and you want to have income streams coming in like crazy. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's amazing. But there's a sequence. There's an order that if you can, as soon as possible, inside of your purpose, start to make money, start to build momentum, start to be able to bring on team to help you, it's so much easier. You can go so much further. You can go so much faster. You can have so much less stress. You can have such a big impact that you just need to focus. You just need to focus. It's all possible. Your big dreams are possible. Go in order, figure out the sequence that will start to get you paid, and focus.
This is where intentional learning really makes a difference. I can't tell you the number of events that I've done, whether it's virtual or in person, where there's always Q&A at some point. So if you're going to an event where you're signing up for a Zoom call and the person who you want to learn from is on that call, what most people do is they become passive listeners. You're passively taking out your notepad and you're taking notes. You got your phone and you're like taking notes on it and like, oh, that's a good insight. That's a good insight. But it's passive because you are not going in to the event with an outcome. Your goal should be, if you want to make learning active, if you want to actually get the most from the experience and be able to make the contacts and get your questions answered, you have to know what the question is going to be that you're going to ask, right? So here's what you should do. First off, whoever your heroes, mentors, guides are, you want to follow them on all the platforms where they can go live. Just before this, I was live on Instagram and we had a whole bunch of people asking questions. Follow, if you want to talk to me, follow me on Instagram. Right? Join my Discord, evancarmichael.biz. Get in there. We're having great conversations. But the people who are your heroes, follow them on the platforms where they might go live.
Look at where they might be speaking at an upcoming event. And then when you go and attend that event, have a plan for your learning so that it's not just passively going through the exercise and activities that they gave you. That's all a bonus. If you're going to go to some conference and there's an activity sheet or workbook to go through, great, that's all a bonus. You need to know going in, what do I want to learn? If I got a chance to ask this person one question, what would that question be? What's the outcome that I want from this? Most people don't do that. And you get caught up in the hype and the energy and the motivation of, wow, it's so amazing, woo! But then you still didn't get the answer that you could have had if you're just more intentional. So you show up, and then when they do the questions, like, okay, we're going to Q&A. Boom, you're the first one there. You're the first one there. You might be nervous. Your heart might be pounding out of your chest like crazy, but you're the first one there. You're standing by the microphone. You're ready to go. You got your hand up before they even go to Q&A and the Zoom chat, right? Like, you are ready to go with your question, the one that you want an answer to. And then you're going to ask the person, hey, here's what I'm struggling with. Here's what I'm working on. Tell me why I suck. And then you get the feedback. If you apply that strategy and go after the top 5 to 10 people in your industry, in your niche, who are doing the thing, you can get access to them. And if you intentionally show up with that one question that you want an answer to, and then you end it with, tell me why I suck, you'll get their brutal, honest feedback and get the advice you actually need to grow.
The way to push past failure is to keep making progress. Part of the reasons why you stick on failure and feeling so bad about yourself and it's never going to work out, it's because there's nothing new that you're working on that's exciting, that you're building towards, that you feel like you're making progress on. Because when you're making progress and you're moving forward, you can't feel like a failure, and you don't have time to think about the failures that you've had. People ask me all the time, hey, what do you do when one of your videos fail? Like, my videos fail all the time. My videos fail all the time. And can I learn from them? Yes. And can we look at the data and the analytics and show, hey, when this happened, your video tanked? Yes. And we do that and we learn from it. But I don't have time to sit there and look at all of just the failures and sit on it, because I've got more videos that I need to make. Another video is coming out tomorrow, and another video is coming out the next day, and another video is coming out the next day. And I don't know how many videos we put out every day across all of our channels, but it's a lot of content. And I'm so focused on the next thing that I'm less focused on the one that was. So learn from that. Awesome. Now move forward. And when you don't have anything that you're moving forward towards, that's when it starts to really hit hard. And so I think that's really important. I think we get too caught up on our first one and it being amazing and nobody liking it, and so we're gonna stop. And even for me, my first video, I forget how many months it was between my first video of all time and then my second video, but it was a while before I kept going, because the first video didn't do as well as I thought it would do. I wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. I was way more nervous than I thought I was gonna be, and I got no comments, right? It's like my mom and my sister commented on my video, and I felt like a failure, so I stopped going. And the thing that saved me the most over however many years of making videos, a decade plus, has been you keep going, you keep making content, you keep creating, you put it in your calendar, and you keep doing something to build momentum towards a dream that you want. And so I think that's incredibly valuable. Whether you're going through a big failure or a mini failure, I think it helps. When I look at big failures in my life, right? So a video failing, that's a small failure, right? Like if this video doesn't go and blow up, it's a small failure. But big failures, the two biggest ones was one personal and one business. The business one was in my first company. I quit. I'm a business partner. I felt like a loser. I was not making money, right? I'm making $300 a month, having no results, no traction. I just feel like a total failure and nothing was working out. And I told my business partner that I quit. And the thing that got me through it was eventually just realizing, hey, somebody else has done this. I can model success. And I looked at Bill Gates and how he started Microsoft, and I learned from that and I built my company. But it was the progress, the moving forward, instead of being stuck on how everything sucks and I suck and I'm not getting results and I'm just failing. The thing that got me the energy to keep going was feeling like there's progress towards a new idea or a new strategy to help me accomplish my goals. My biggest personal failure was getting divorced over 10 years ago. And that was really rough. You know, it was it felt like a personal failure. I mean, it ended up being the best thing for both of us. But at the time, it felt like a huge failure. Even just saying that I, am divorced, it just felt like a giant failure, that I suck as a human, that I couldn't make this work. And that took a while to get through. And eventually the thing that helped me was I pulled up a dating app and I saw options. I was like, oh, you know what? Okay, maybe this could work or that could work. And it's like the idea of progress towards something instead of being stuck in the past is the thing that started to get me through to build some momentum. Understand that if you're living in failure right now, it's just the past. You're living in the past. You're frustrated with what happened and what you should have done differently and could have done differently, and you wish you said this or did that or acted a certain way. You're just constantly repeating the past. Where to get out of the past, to get out of the failure, now we need to think present and future. What are we working towards? What are we building towards? What are we creating and making? And as soon as you can shift from past to present or future, that starts to allow your brain to shift into forward momentum and progress instead of living in failure. So some of the steps that you can do that I think can help. 1, put activity into your calendar. So whatever you're working towards, if it didn't work out once, awesome, put it in your calendar to keep going. Today's a Tuesday as I'm filming this video. Tuesday is my video day. I'm making content on Tuesday. We're here and we're sitting in the parking lot. My wife Nina is running some errands, shipping out some Built to Serve books, I believe, right now here at the shipping center. And I'm making content because it's in my calendar. If I didn't have content day and it wasn't scheduled in, I wouldn't be making content. I'd be doing something else. Or I might be thinking about all the past failures that I had in my content. But because this is scheduled in my calendar, I'm making progress and moving forward. So whatever you want to make progress and move forward towards, have chunks of time in your calendar dedicated to doing it. 2, have something that inspires you. It could be people, it could be remembering what impact you're trying to have, your big mission or your vision that you're trying to accomplish. One of the things that really helped me early in my career is I made a PowerPoint file of all the people who came to my events, my seminars, my speaking gigs, and the message that they had for me. They wrote to me because I feel great the next day after an event, but then I would lose the vibe, I'd lose the momentum. It didn't feel like, who cares, it doesn't matter anymore. But I would watch this PowerPoint file where I put their quotes and how much of an impact I was having on them. And so it reminded me of why I do what I do and gave me more energy, momentum to keep moving forward. That becomes critical. Like, what inspires you to want to move forward? Maybe it's watching videos like this. Maybe it's looking at testimonials from the people who you've helped. Maybe it's remembering your big goal and dream of what you're trying to accomplish. But what inspires you to want to start building some momentum? And then 3, model success and find the people who are doing the thing or have done the thing that you're trying to do, and learn from them and study them. And what that does is it gives you hope and strategies. When you are studying people who've done the thing that you want to do, it gives you the hope that it's possible for you too, right? Because when you look at their story, they probably started with less than what you have right now. And in studying them, you can see, oh, if they could do it, maybe I can too. It's just that hope, because you don't see anybody in your family or friend circle doing what you want to do. And so it feels impossible. But when you're around the people who are doing it, even just by reading their book or watching their videos, it gives you the hope that it's possible. And then 2, it gives you the strategy of what you could be doing. So how do you go from where you are now to where you want to be? Well, if you're modeling success and you see what they did, it gives you hope, plus the strategy to actually go off and execute. So coming back to the theme of failure, what this video is all about, you're going to have tons of failure. It's going to happen. Like if you are not failing, it means you're not taking a big enough shot, right? If you're not failing, you're just doing things that you know how to do. Therefore, you're just in your comfort zone. Therefore, you just hate your life, right? If you have 0 failure happening in your life, then you're taking 0 chances and you're just doing what you know how to do, and you'll be bored and you won't like your life. So recognize that failure is part of the process. And as soon as we can move from past, I suck as a human, I made all these mistakes, to, okay, I'm moving forward, we're making progress, we got a big thing that we're chasing down. When you can move from failure to progress, it gives you the momentum, it gives you the hope, it gives you the energy, and ends up giving you a lot better results as well. Some businesses are just easier to build and to scale than others. Some businesses have a high growth market, and some of them are slow growth. It doesn't mean that you can't win, but the opportunity is going to be much different. The upside is going to be much different depending on the market that you're going into. I love to say that a successful entrepreneur is one who combines what you love doing with where there's an opportunity. If you love doing it, but there's no opportunity, or it's really small, then you've got a hobby. It can be a really fulfilling hobby, but it's when you love doing it and there's a big opportunity, that's when you start to win. Now, if there's a big opportunity, you don't love doing it, you're not going to win either. You can build an okay business if there's a big opportunity, but you don't like doing it, but only for so long, because then you're going to quit. You're going to hate your life because you're waking up every day and doing work that you don't like doing, and you're going to quit. And this is where a lot of entrepreneurs struggle. They do one of those two things. They try to start a business just around their hobbies, what they're passionate about, but there's no market opportunity. They don't know how to tie it into real demand, so they never build a business, just a hobby on the weekends and evenings. Or they're just chasing the hot opportunity and they don't care about the business. And so either way, you're going to lose in both those scenarios. You win by doing the work that you love that has a big opportunity upside to you as well. I want to share 2 quick examples that happened to me in the past week that I think could be really relevant and valuable. One was that a dear friend of mine asked me, what social media platforms am I focusing on? And we're talking about Instagram, because he wants to go more hardcore on Instagram, wanted to know what I was doing on Instagram. And I said, you know what, right now I'm not doing much on Instagram. You know, I'm not spending a lot of my effort, my time, my energy on Instagram. I love serving, I love helping, I love getting the message out there. I want to do it in a way that has the biggest potential for impact and reach in the projects I'm working on. So he said, well, where are you spending your effort and energy? Well, YouTube is still number one. YouTube is number one because YouTube is still the best place to get your message across. It has been for the past couple years, and it's only getting bigger. More people are going to YouTube for content, for education. It's only getting bigger. So YouTube is still number one. But then after YouTube, where am I spending most of my time? Twitter and Discord. Discord, I think, is the best place to be for community. And Twitter, it's surprising how much Twitter has picked up. Twitter was one of the first social networks I was on. And I not left it, but kind of ignored it for years. And now it's back. It's back, baby. So I'm spending a lot of my time on Twitter and Discord and, of course, YouTube. And why? Well, because that's where people are. That's where the impact is. That's where you can get your message out. And so I don't care about the platform. I care about reaching people. So you could spend all day long working on Instagram, or you could have spent all day long still, if you were working on MySpace, creating your account. Does MySpace still exist? I don't even know. It's just not a big opportunity. And so, yeah, again, what do I care about? I care about helping entrepreneurs. I care about getting the message out there. So then it becomes using your head. Okay, where's the opportunity? YouTube, Discord, Twitter. P.S. If you want to join my Discord server, it's free. I'm there every day. evancarmichael.biz. Come check us out. The second quick example is I'm talking to a successful entrepreneur who wants to move from his big business that he's built, tens of millions of dollars in revenue, to starting a business to help other entrepreneurs get their companies going. And he's having a hard time getting this thing off the ground, and he's having a hard time monetizing it. And he's having a hard time getting people to pay him for things. And I said, well, the immediate opportunity, you know, if you have a long horizon, great. You'll eventually win because your brain will play out, you'll get better at the game, etc. But the best thing that you can do right now, if you want to monetize it, is coach people who are inside of your industry that you have domain expertise. Because what he's coming at doing is just helping people with personal development. He's coming in, helping them believe in themselves, helping them overcome their limiting beliefs, you know, helping them fix their mindset, get their schedule right, all that stuff. But then if they're off building their own business, he's only adding one little piece. Now imagine if you could add the tactical information and the contacts, as well as the mindset and the motivation. So there's three entrepreneurs that I invested into recently: Drew, Jeremy, and Bo. And these 3 guys, some of them had no experience. I think Jeremy he was a stock boy at a grocery store, and he's mid 6 figures revenue 18 months later. Why? Well, because yes, I'm giving him the belief and the mindset and the motivation, but I can also give him contacts. I can also make introductions for him. I can also give him information about the industry to know what he's doing right and what he's doing wrong. And so when I'm looking to make an investment into an entrepreneur, I want to be able to help them beyond just believe, because I can give believe to anybody. But who would I want to give believe to that have the highest impact for success? It's going to be people who I can give contacts to. Jeremy does YouTube consulting. There's people who contact me all the time for YouTube consulting. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be in that business, so I can give it to Jeremy. Perfect. But if you were I don't know, you were an arborist. Can you see the trees? I guess not. It's kind of blurry. If you're an arborist, I can help you believe in yourself. I can give you some business model ideas, but I can't make contacts or introductions for you. And so you have to be smart about the opportunities you take on. It has to be something that you deeply, deeply, deeply care about. And then inside that, find the opportunity. Because the market is moving, and the market hopefully is getting bigger. And if you're inside a growing market and you love what you're doing, that's a slam dunk. That's a home run for you. So what's the methodology now to help figure that out? Well, one, you have to start with, what do you naturally just love doing? What do you love doing? What can you wake up and get? What are you getting lost in? Where are you spending your time? What are you daydreaming about? Not about the result, not about the cars and the yachts and the whatever, right? Not that. That's a result. What do you get lost in the process of doing? What industry do you actually care about? Where are you spending your time? Where are you researching? What doesn't feel like work for you, right? So that's step one, is connecting to something that you're actually passionate about, not just trying to make money, right? Making money is important, but it's not step number one. Figure out that idea. Next is, okay, how do we turn that into a market opportunity? Where is the business actually growing that we can connect our talents and our passions to? So if you love sharing a message, like my first example, great. Now be strategic about the platform that you're going to pick. It used to be Instagram. Now it's YouTube, Twitter, and Discord. If you love coaching people and consulting and investing in people, great. Connect it to where you actually have domain expertise and can make introductions for people and take a piece of their business, as opposed to just charging for the hour or just helping people with mindset and not actually introductions and tactics, right? So you love the opportunity. It makes you come alive thinking about it, and there's actually something for you to grow, right? Logically, strategically, there's a way for you to make money doing it. When you can combine those two things, you have a much, 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 much higher degree of success.
Great ideas flow through you. Teach yourself, train yourself that great ideas are flowing through you, that the idea that you just came up with, that you've been thinking of, that doesn't make any sense, is great, is amazing, and is right for you, because quite often, the ideas that come to you don't make sense, are not practical. Someone like you shouldn't do it. And whenever your head and your heart are misaligned, whenever your heart wants to do something, but your head tells you that you can't do it, if you listen to your head, you'll stay small. If you listen to the practical reasons why you can't do it, then guess what? You won't do it. You'll stay stuck, you'll stay small, you'll stay crushed for life, knowing that you're capable of more, but never going after it. So trust that great things flow through you. Trust that this thing that just came into your mind, if you're feeling bold, ambitious, confidence, in service, that it's the right thing for you and you need to go and chase it down.
When you are accountable to other people, you are more likely to follow through. Whether it's in entrepreneurship, whether it's in personal development, whether it's working out or working on yourself, when you are feeling like somebody else is counting on you besides you, you're way more likely to follow through. Think about going to the gym, right? You may not like going to the gym. You may find reasons to put off going to gym. Maybe it's early morning, maybe you're tired, you didn't sleep well last night, your muscles still hurt from yesterday, all sorts of reasons and excuses you come up with. But if you know that somebody else is going to be there, your friend is going to be there waiting for you, you're way more likely to follow through because now it's not just about you. I created a challenge inside my Movement Makers program. And Movement Makers is a program I created to help thought leaders, experts who want to build up their following and want to get their message out to the world. You got a big message in here, let's get it out to the world. And you train with me, but you also get to connect with each other. And I was frustrated that people were not making enough content. You've got such a big message, such a big potential voice, your story matters, and people were not making enough content. And everybody was living, not everybody, but a good chunk of people were living inside the typical reasons we all come up with, right? I'm too busy, I don't know what gear to use, I don't like how I look on camera, my videos suck, over and over and over, the same reasons. And so I decided to do something a couple months ago that was different. I said, you know what? We are going to do a challenge because the thing that's missing is momentum. You guys have the heart and the soul and the care. And just like, if you ever meet anybody in Movement Makers, it's just good people. Just, some of the nicest, friendliest, most caring, most giving people that I've ever met. You've got everything. You're just missing momentum. You're just not putting that up there because there's too much blockage in your head. You need momentum. And so out of that frustration, I came up with the Momentum Challenge. And my goal with the Momentum Challenge was for them to make content, but not just make content, actually create the content in a way that can generate business for them. So the challenge was structured in 5 pieces of content. One was a solo video, and the theme was momentum. So you have to make a solo video on momentum. 2 is 3 collaboration videos with other people in Movement Makers. So you need to do an interview with somebody and collaborate on the theme of momentum. And then the third thing was to do a lead magnet on momentum. So lead magnet basically implies that you create a PDF or you create a unlisted video that you can share in return for people giving you their email address. So they email you, you give them the PDF, and now they're on your email list, and you can use that to continue to build a relationship and ultimately work with them, hopefully in some capacity, right? Where you're serving, caring, and making money in the process too. So that's the challenge. And whoever's in, you have the whole month to do it. And at the end of the month, whoever completes the challenge, we're going to do a Clubhouse Live all together and celebrate. I didn't know how it would go. I hope people would take me up on it, but it's easy to have a lot of excitement at the beginning, right? Have you ever been excited by something at the beginning and then pretty quickly you fall off the tracks, right? Has that ever happened to you? We're talking about a month here. It's not just make one video today. It's you got to stay consistent for a month. You got to make 5 pieces of content in a month. And for a lot of people, they didn't know how to do collaborations and never done an interview with somebody else. For a lot of people, they didn't know what a lead magnet was or how to make one or how to save a PDF or how to set up a landing page, how to do all the tech behind the scenes, right? And those are the excuses that they were holding on to for why they couldn't win in their own business. But now it's being forced. Now you have to do it. And I didn't know how well it would work out. And fortunately, it went insanely well. People had some of the best conversations of their lives. People finally got the tech side of their business figured out with landing pages and lead magnets. People started forming alliances and partnerships and cooperations and joint ventures with each other that I'd never even anticipated or seen. Why? Because they were committed to each other. Because now it wasn't just about doing it for themselves, it was about doing it with somebody. And here's what's important. It's not just doing it by yourself or for somebody. It's doing it with somebody. That makes a big difference, because if you're watching this channel, you're probably a heart-driven entrepreneur, right? That's why I love you. It's why you're here. You're a heart-driven entrepreneur. You want to serve. You want to make money. You want to have an impact, right? It's not just about the dollars, but also putting something positive out into the world that you're proud of. Whether it's making content like this or products or services, you want to serve. You are built to serve. It's why you're here. And I love that. And so you can connect to the mission and the service because you're doing it for somebody, right? You're doing it for your audience. You're doing it for your customers. You're doing it for the people who are going to consume what you're creating. That's very different though than doing it with somebody. because most entrepreneurs, and this is a good gut check or look in the mirror for yourself, most entrepreneurs are doing it by themselves. Even if you have a team, you still feel like you're doing it by yourself. There's nobody who actually gets what you do. Does that sound familiar? Do you feel like you're kind of alone on this? People who support you and might cheer you on, but they're not in the same boat. They're not trying to do what you do. They don't know how to help besides giving some words of encouragement. So you feel like you're doing it by yourself. And man, is it hard to do something that's hard when you're by yourself. And that's where you need the mental toughness and the discipline and the scheduling and the calendar and you do hard things. And one of the best hacks to make sure you actually follow through is you have some accountability. And not just somebody to hold your feet to the fire to say, hey, you know, what are you doing? You know, you don't need a boss. But you need to feel like you're doing this with people. That you're doing your thing, but with others. And I think that's where the Movement Makers Challenge just really played out super well, is that now all of a sudden, people are booking collaborations with each other and they know what to talk about, where before they wouldn't book an interview because they didn't know what questions to ask. People are now helping each other with their landing pages and lead magnets, where in the past they would tell themselves, I don't know the tech, I'm too confused, I need to hire somebody, but I have no money to hire somebody. And now all of a sudden they're getting it done. Now it's happening. Where months or a year might have gone by and they still hadn't done it. Now all of a sudden there's momentum happening. Why? Because they committed to somebody else. And because they committed to the group that they want to complete this thing. And then the celebration. When we did our clubhouse at the end of the month, the stories and the emotion was just so amazing. It became, Movement Makers started as me sharing a message. I'm going to teach you how to X, Y, Z. And it became so much more about the family and the community and the connection that really people are following through, not just because of the ideas that I'm giving them, but because they have a group of people that they're doing this thing with. So find your own group, you know, or find one person. I have something I remind myself of constantly, that I like to collect good people. I want to find good people. I want to be around good people. I want to be around the people who fill me up, who make me feel like I'm worthy, I can do great things, make me energized. I leave them feeling better about myself than when I came in. I want to be around those people. And when I find somebody like that, I want to fight to find more time with them. And as an introverted, shy person, that can be really difficult and awkward. And I'm still afraid to ask for help. And I probably still don't do that enough. Somebody, there was a speaker who I spoke at his event. And he's like, how can I help you? I was like, I'm just here to serve. I wanted to help, no problem, you know. And he wrote back, said, no, I owe you. Like, how can I help you? And it's still something I'm working on and doing a better job in asking for help, because I'll default to just find the solution myself. Don't want to burden people, you know, is the story that is in my head that I need to fix. But when you can find people to do something with, when you are on your path, and you feel alone and you're struggling and the motivation isn't there, but then you know that somebody else is on the same journey with you, you're so much more likely to follow through. And so I encourage you not to do this alone, not to live life alone, not to run your business alone, that you'll have a greater degree of joy, of happiness, of impact, of service, of momentum, of progress, of results, when you have people, even one person, who you feel like you're doing this with. So don't try to be the hero all the time and feel like you have to do everything yourself. Don't think, well, I'm doing this for people and that's enough. Make it a goal of yours that in the next 30 days, you're going to find somebody who's going to help hold you a little bit accountable, and you're going to hold them accountable too. You're giving just as much as you're taking. And together, you're going to create something amazing. It's a true scenario where 1 + 1 = 14. That you plus them equals tremendous growth for both of you. You don't have to do this alone. Get somebody to help you stay accountable. Catching that pattern. It's like, oh, it happened again. I wanted to go and do this and I didn't do it. Again, I had this opportunity to talk to somebody and I played small. Again, I had this chance and I didn't do it. And you're going to catch it a day later, a couple days later and reflect back on it and realize, okay, I should have done it. Next time I'm going to try to have more awareness. Step one is just the awareness game, because the problem is it's so autopilot. We play small by default, especially if we've been doing it for decades. You play small by default. So it's so ingrained, so natural, so autopilot that we have to slowly shift out of autopilot zone. Eventually what's going to happen is you're going to catch it in less than a day. You're going to catch it a couple hours later. Then you're going to catch it an hour later. Then you're going to catch it 10 minutes later. Then you're going to catch it 5 minutes later. And then step number 2 is you're going to get to this magical moment. You're going to get to this magical moment where it's about to happen. You've caught it. You've caught your small thinking. You've caught your scared thinking. You've caught your excuses thinking. In the actual moment that it's happening, this is a magical spot right now, because you're actually calling yourself out on your own BS right now. And what you need to do is get enough courage to actually take the action, to pivot courses, to instead of doing what you historically normally would do on autopilot, now we're going to take the other action, the action where you're proud of yourself, the action that you don't want to live in regret. That version of you showing up. There's an order to things. There's a sequence to things. Part of the problem with a lot of entrepreneurs is they're just not doing the things in the right order. You're trying to tackle that big mission from the start, doing all 30 things at the same time, and not making any money, and not making any momentum, not making any progress, and ultimately not having the impact that you want to have. So out of your 30 ideas, all inside your mission, amazing, which one is actually going to start getting you paid? Because when you can start making money, everything becomes better. Everything becomes easier. You can quit your job, you can pay your bills, you can hire a team, you can have a bigger impact, right? If you had a team of 10 people versus you doing things part-time on the weekends and evenings, you're just gonna have a much bigger impact. If you have you working full-time and a team around you. How do you get there? What's the one idea out of the 30? The number one way to deal with negative people in your life is through empathy. It's empathy. It's not hating them back. It's not spreading negativity. It's not reminding yourself that you're better than them. It's empathy. And it's not even just feeling bad for them. It's actually connecting to them. Let me explain. I default to assuming that people are good. This is a wild idea. People are good. Humans are good. I've done the WHO exercise, the year 1 word exercise, helping people find the most important core value with so many people. And it's always something positive. I believe that 99.9999999% of people are good. There's a tiny percentage of people who enjoy killing people and maybe have a few screws loose up here. But for the most part, we're good. Everybody has dreams. Everybody has ambitions. Everybody wants to serve. Everybody wants to be in a better place than where they are right now. The problem is, a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are in pain. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are suffering. A lot of people have tried. They took their shot and it didn't work out. And because they're so in pain, now they don't want other people around them to have success either. Because if they took a shot and it didn't work out, they don't want to own it that it's on them. But if you then go off and have success, you start achieving your goals, what does that say about them? Right? It's not that the world is rigged against them, it's that they actually suck. And they don't want to admit that, and they don't want to own up to that. And so they're living in pain. And so they take it out on other people. They take it out on you, they take it out on me, they take it out on the world. They take it out on people. Right? That's what people do when they're in a lot of pain. Think about you. Think about your experiences, your life. Think about when you've been in a lot of pain, when you've struggled. Really think about this. The last time that you were struggling in a lot of pain, did you then show up as your best self in all situations? Did you maybe lose your cool on somebody? Did you maybe insult somebody? Did you maybe say something that you're not proud of that you later would regret? Has that ever happened to you? It's not that you're a bad person. It's not that you're a toxic person. It's not that you're a hater. You were just in a lot of pain. And so the people who are throwing shade at you are in a lot of pain. They're struggling. And just recognizing that, just trying to put yourself in their shoes and look at their life. And if you know them, you can actually look at their life. And if you don't know them, you can assume things about their life. If somebody's coming and leaving a negative comment on your YouTube video, the fact that that is the highlight of their day speaks volumes about them, right? If the best part of your day is going to somebody's YouTube channel, leaving some nasty comment, that gets you feeling good. You're in a lot of, just imagine the pain that that person's in. Imagine what their life is like right now. And it's a bit of a mental exercise because at the beginning, the natural reaction is to be defensive. It's like, well, no, I'm not this. And how could you call me that? And we want the people around us to support us and cheer us on and tell us that we're doing the right thing. So the natural defense mechanism kicks in where we say, no, that's not right. But if you can take a breather, you can take a step back and you can just try to have empathy, try to put yourself in their shoes, try to see that they're in a lot of pain. What it does is removes the sting from the words. It removes the venom from the words. It doesn't get you to react as emotionally. It allows you to show up more as your best self. It's one of the most valuable things you can start to practice. This is one of the things that prevents people from creating content, from posting videos, from sharing their thoughts. You've got a big mission, a message. Your story can change people's lives. Your story can change people's lives. It will change people's lives. And we're afraid to do it because of how people that we don't know or people that we do know will judge us. We're afraid that we're going to get negative comments. And that's the reason why you're not putting your message out there. We have to learn, you have to learn to stop getting in your own way and to start sharing, to start releasing, to start living your life, the life that you want, not somebody else's version of it.
I'm going to substitute mission for purpose. Your purpose is what you are here for. Your purpose is what do you wake up excited to do? Your purpose is what's the impact that you want to have on the world? What do you want to be known for? What do you want to create? Your purpose is the thing that keeps you going when you want to quit, when you want to give up, when you feel like it's not happening fast enough, when your goals aren't enough to keep you going. What is the thing that keeps you going? It's your purpose. To feel like what you are doing today matters, is meaningful, is going to have an impact. And people have asked me, somebody asked me yesterday, I was doing an IG Live, and somebody asked me, how do you keep going? You're one of the most consistent people I've ever seen in my life. How do you keep going? How do you keep making videos? Well, I feel like it matters. I'm living my purpose. I don't think what I'm doing is that unique, that special. I think everybody can do it. It's within reach for everybody to do it. The problem is most people are just chasing opportunity and just trying to make a quick buck. And making money is very important. It is very important. It's just not number one. Number one is your purpose. If you woke up and felt like today mattered, that it was going to mean something to somebody, you're going to show up in a totally different way. You're going to show up with more energy. It's going to be easier to say yes. I was making videos for years with getting almost no views, 0 comments. Why? Because I felt like what I was doing mattered. That if 100 people saw my video, that's 100 people that saw my video. Where if you're just chasing the end goal, if you're just chasing, oh, I need to have 1 million subscribers, or I need to have X in my bank account, you stop. You will quit because it gets too hard. Where if you actually felt like, I'm going to show up today and I'm going to do something that matters and it's going to change at least one person's life. There are some days when you feel like you can change the world, right? There are some days when you feel like I can do anything. I can change the world. I'm going to X, right? There are some days when you actually feel that and it's amazing. And there are some days where that feels too big and too scary and your purpose feels too overwhelming. And it should be aspirational. It should be beyond your reach. It should not be something that just gets solved in your lifetime. It's something that you want to swim forever, to climb forever, to keep chasing down. So there are some days where it feels too big. And on those days, don't stress about it being too big. Worry about, hey, I'm just going to help one person. For me, when I'm stressing out about making content, making videos, speaking on stage, whatever else I'm doing, some days like, I'm going to change the world today. And other days is, I hope I can reach a few people with the video. This is a Tuesday for me. I record videos on Tuesday. Every Tuesday I make content. It's in my calendar. And it's always the most stressful day for me in my week because I always want to make the best that I can. I want today's videos to be the best that I can with what I've got because I want to have an impact. I want hopefully this video and the way that I say it and just hope that this is the one that finally resonates with at least one person. The hope isn't I need this video to go get 1 million views or I'm a failure. The hope is that for you, maybe you're the one today that the way that I say it
hits you in the right spot that pushes you towards some kind of action, to take that thing that's been sitting inside your heart that you've been sitting on for a long time that you know you want to do, and get the permission, get the courage to actually go off and do the thing. That's what purpose does for you. Purpose demands that you grow into a better version of yourself, because you won't do it just for yourself. If your goals are just purely selfish, if it's just to have money in your bank account or buy a certain car or whatever, the goals just for yourself will not sustain you through the long stretches of bad times that it takes to go off and actually build something meaningful. The thing that sustains you is feeling like this is of greater service to other people than just me. Okay, so everybody has a purpose. The purpose is the thing that gets you going. The purpose is the thing that keeps you motivated. The purpose is the thing that makes you want to do something today. How do you find it? Well, finding it doesn't have to be a difficult process. I wrote about it in Built to Serve. I believe humans are built to serve, and finding your purpose comes from I call it your why, and your why comes from your pain. Your purpose comes from your pain. Your purpose is not something that changes next year or the year after or the year after. It's not what's my purpose for this year. That's a decent enough conversation, even figuring that out. If you wanted to go down that path, what's my purpose for the year? It's already more self-awareness than what 99% of the world has, but that's still not your life's purpose. Your purpose is the thing that at 120 years old, you're still obsessed about. My purpose isn't to grow my YouTube channel. I don't know if I'll be doing YouTube at 120 years old. That's too far away for me to think about. My purpose is to try to solve the world's biggest problem, which is that people don't believe in themselves enough. And when I'm 120 years old, that will still be there, and I will still be doing whatever the modern technology is, right? If it's YouTube, amazing. If it's VR, something totally different, I'll be doing that because I want to solve that problem. That's what I wake up every day trying to do. Why? Well, because the purpose comes from my pain, because what I struggled the most with was me. Oh, Nina brought some coffee. We love you, Nina. Look at the steam. Look at the steam.
I bought this guy coffee.
And you bought the homeless guy coffee?
He said it's his birthday. So
it's his birthday? Yeah. Look at Nina. Yeah. So special. See, she's spreading her purpose. Love it. My purpose came from my pain. I struggled so much as an entrepreneur. I felt the lowest as a human. I felt worthless. I quit on my business partner. I thought it was never going to work out. I just felt incredible pain. I felt lonely, isolated, worthless. And I did quit on my business partner. And then luckily I came back the next day and just decided I can't quit on this yet. And I'm still making all of this content, all of my material. How many years later? Let's say that was when I was 19, 20. I'm 41 now. So 20 plus years later, still helping, still making content, still going. And it's going to be another 80 years of doing this. Because there are so many people, millions of people who are 19-year-old Evan right now struggling with the same thing. Whatever you struggled with, think about in your life the deepest, most traumatic experience where you felt worthless as a human being, the most painful emotionally moment that you had to go through. And you barely made it. You know, you didn't triumph your way through it. You struggled, but you made it, and now you're here. And you're still not where you want to be, but you're way further ahead than you used to be, right? You, right now, could go back to you from 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, and give some great advice. That's your purpose. To know that there are millions of people right now who are currently the person you used to be, and they may not make it through. They may not make it through like you did. You had the strength, you had the courage, you had the strategies, you found a way, and you made it through. And they may not. And they need you. They need your voice. They need your hope. They need your inspiration. They need your message. They need you in a way that they won't listen to me. They won't listen to Tom Bilyeu or Tony Robbins. They won't listen because they don't connect to us, but they will connect to you because you are like them. So it doesn't have to take you years to figure out your purpose. You don't have to go to a retreat. You don't have to go meditate on a mountain. You don't have to hire a fancy business coach. You don't have to do any of that. You already know it. You go back to the most painful moment in your life where you felt worthless as a human being, and then just deeply connect to that and feel and know that there are many people out there right now who are that right now, and they have no hope and no guidance and no leadership and no wisdom, and they feel stuck, and they feel alone, they feel afraid, they feel ashamed, they're not reaching out, they're not asking for help, and they're going and they're searching, they're going to YouTube, they're going to YouTube, they're going to YouTube, they're going to YouTube. How many times do I have to say that? They're going to Google, they're going to Twitter, they're going to Facebook, they're searching for help, for answers. You could be the one that shows up. And if you actually felt that on some days you could change the world, and on some days you could change one person's life, if you actually felt that, you will show up completely differently. Finding your purpose and living it is the thing that gives you the motivation, the strength, the confidence to show up one more day and keep going.
Living in regret sucks. Imagine you are 95 years old, you're looking back on your life at this moment, on this day, realizing that you could have played bigger, you could have done more, you had more potential, you had an opportunity in front of you, you could have done something, and you didn't. You didn't because you were afraid, you came up with some reason that you actually believed that was really an excuse. You played small, you didn't accomplish your goals. Now you're 95 years old and it's over and you can't do it. You're not physically or mentally able to actually do it. The more you can actually feel that today matters, that you want to stop living your life by other people's opinions and stop living with the fear of regret. Stop having that thing hang over your head that you could have done something and you were too afraid to do it. The more you can actually feel that, it can push you to actually take an action, because otherwise you live the life that everybody lives, that most people live. Most people regret their life. Most people regret not the things that they did, but the things that they didn't do. Regret the ideas that you had that then you saw somebody else make a ton of money off of. You regret the conversations that you wanted to take, but you are too afraid to go introduce yourself. Like, we live in this zone of regret. Already you can feel it. Look back to things that happened last year, 2 years ago, or 5 years ago. Like, you wish that you showed up a certain way. You wish that you had more courage, more boldness, and you didn't do it. You didn't do it. And the point isn't to beat yourself up over that. The point is to use that as courage to go do something today towards accomplishing your goals. I used to use the fear of regret a lot when I was younger, especially, to get myself to take action. The biggest decision of all, the hardest decision of all, was to, when I was 19, not take the $100K a year dream job that I thought I wanted, to go become an entrepreneur, make $300 a month, own 30% of a company. That was the hardest thing ever. And the thing that gave me the courage to do it was the fear of regret. And Jeff Bezos has a great regret minimization framework, he calls it, where basically he tries to project out to being, that old man and living life with as few regrets as possible. So I asked myself, what will I regret more? Will I regret more saying no to my dream job and making six figures and traveling around the world? Or will I regret more saying no to this business and just not knowing? And I thought, you know what? I can always go get another job. It may not be the same job. It may not be the same company. It may not be the same opportunity. It may not be as much money. It may not be as much travel. It may not be this perfect job. But I could get another similar job. I felt like I could get another similar job. This business idea, this business opportunity, I didn't know that I would ever have this chance again. And so I said, you know what? Even if the most likely outcome is failure, I didn't think it was going to blow up. I didn't know that it was going to work out or not. Even if the most likely scenario is failure, I still have to do it because I don't want to live with regret. And I told myself I would rather know and fail than not know.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome.
If you want to watch another top 10 rules of Evan Carmichael, check out the video next to me. continue to believe. I will see you there.
Find your passion. When I get asked, you've studied all these people, what's the most common thread? That's it. Find your passion. You have to be doing the work that you love. But how do you do it? How do you find it? Because most of the time we know what we don't want. You know the life